you just... Awesome. We are back at the day 2 of the 2021 Squamish 50. I'm here with yesterday's 50-mile winner, Anne-Marie Madden. You're looking a little bit more dry than when we saw you come through yesterday. We'll definitely be catching up with you about how yesterday's race went. And then I'm also on my left, Kat Drew. Kat, you ran in 2018,
yes.
I want to say? Yeah,
it was a warmer day.
A much warmer day. Yeah, you ran in a super competitive year. I believe that's the year Courtney DeWalter set course record.
Yes.
And
so
I think
8:22.
Yeah.
There was no course records being set yesterday. I don't think there'll be any course records today. No. Spoiler alert, it is still raining.
Shocker.
You know, like on that note though, I do feel like Mike and Nick's 50-mile run yesterday in a normal condition day might have taken the record. Like their effort, considering the conditions out there, was quite impressive.
Yeah, I absolutely. Well, let's look at their. Actually, we can sort of recap their times from yesterday. So, yesterday's top two males were Mike Siddick and Nick Elson. Mike was in at 7:43.47, and then Nick Elson was in at 7:44.18. And just
so close, hey, for a 50-miler.
So close, and just to kind of put that into perspective with some of the, let's get some of these top times from previous years here.
Like I think Dakota Jones is 7:31.
Yeah,
that
so
was a pretty nice year.
And that was in 2000. Yeah. So 2016, Dakota Jones set the course record, and that was 7:31.09. Yeah. But then Nick Elson also had Nick Elson in 2000. Oh, that's perfect. Good. There we go. In 2015, Nick Elson ran the second fastest time, which was 7:31.55. So about 10 minutes-ish back, which is pretty incredible given the conditions.
Yeah.
And then Nick also had a time in 2019 of 7:40.43. So yeah, pretty outstanding given the crazy conditions.
He ended it with another sprint finish. Like it's kind of with Chris Mocco, I think.
Yes.
Had a lot of very painful final street kilometers through Squamish, I think, over the years here.
And that was super cool yesterday finding out, because given the weather and just the size of the course, we don't know where runners are at all times, but we had about a 3 kilometer heads up yesterday for when they were coming in, and it was at that point we found out, hey, Nick and Mike Siddick were both going head to head all day, and it was going to come down to that final kilometer on Loggers Lane, and Mike ended up pulling it out, which is awesome. Both men put on a great performance. Now, we did just find out that it sounds like Mike Siddick, yesterday's 50-mile winner, who's also doing the 50-50 today, it sounds like he dropped at Quest, which is understandable. I mean, just anybody who woke up today to run the 50K after running the 50 miles yesterday is a hero in my book. So if you woke up, you didn't hit snooze, and you actually showed up to the start line,
totally
that is
impressive.
Do you think you could have showed up to run 50K today? Or
I had a really oddly rough night. I was dry retching, which I've never done after a race. So I would not have been excited to be on the start line again at 6 this morning. But maybe because I didn't really attempt the downhills as hard as I usually would, my legs actually don't feel quite, like my muscles don't feel as beat up as usual, but my joints are quite sore. And that was the limiting factor yesterday was that everything felt super achy, and I think it was the cold and the wet just kind of exacerbated that. And so every step downhill, the pounding was super sore. And so I can't even imagine these people who've run all day yesterday in the cold, they're definitely going to be achy today. And now they're going out to do it again, just with a slightly shorter version, but 50K after 50 miler, and you're doing the same course again. Are you reliving the horrors of the day before as you're oh man, yesterday this is where I threw up, this is where I wiped out. I don't know.
Yeah, and the thing is too that I keep thinking about. So, lining up to run today's 50K course, and the course is already completely soaked and muddy.
Yeah.
But you had 250 runners ish run the course yesterday,
Yeah.
so it's
Through the mud.
yeah, it would be absolute carnage out there today.
Totally.
Something I think you said in the post-race interview yesterday with Gary, I think you mentioned that there was some big puddles that you would step into, and then you wouldn't even know what was underneath there, which is kind of dangerous, I guess.
Totally, and that I kind of learned that lesson early on, like in the first 20K twice. You know, you're trying to, early on I was just like trying to run through the deep puddles. You've given up trying to stay dry, so that's not really a factor. But the problem is, yeah, even if a few people have already gone through the puddle, they're not clear anymore. They get muddy, so you can't actually see the bottom. And then you kind of put your foot in it, and your body's just like guessing where's the ground going to be. And then if there's a boulder or a rock that you're not really prepared for, yeah, I rolled like my ankle twice, and so really had to be more cautious after those couple puddles. So then I just like walked through most of them, which is really, it's just a mentally exhausting process. It's like, it's kind of like driving through a parking lot with constant speed bumps. Like you get going and then you gotta slow down, and you get going, and there were often the places with the worst puddles were the flat sections where usually on this course you'd be able to just kind of go, you know, like you're not climbing, you're not descending, you're not limited by like really technical descents or like a slog uphill, and yet they were the worst places for water, obviously, like sitting more rather than running down the course. So there was like no winning on any section yesterday. nothing was free. You had to kind of work for everything.
We have 365 starters today.
Wow.
Okay, so we just got word, I don't know if everybody heard that, but we have 365 starters today, which is absolutely incredible given the weather, just waking up this early. And it actually brings up an interesting point, is you've run this course, you've run the 23K course 6 or 7 times, I think, in the past.
Yeah, 7 I think now, yeah.
Basically, you've been here every year. This has to have been the craziest conditions you've seen.
For sure, like we've definitely had the extremes, like some really hot years, and this is pretty much the only cold, rainy
There was
year.
some smoke too. Did you run that? Was that 2019?
2018.
2018.
Yeah,
Yes,
that was
that's
the
the year you ran.
No, that's the only year I missed because I had just moved to California for my
Yes.
fellowship, so I didn't race that year. So there was smoke in California as well, but we, I didn't make it here that year. But that's tough on your lungs, and you know, I was just listening to some podcasts on like the long-term effects of ultra racing, you know, and they were talking about the effects of running in smoke and smog, and they even question whether it might if you're doing it a lot all the time and that's just where you live, the benefits of your exercise might be outweighed by the impacts of the smoke on your airway. So let's hopefully not have too many more fires.
We're just going to officially move the Squamish 50 to October every year.
Yeah.
So that's, and it'll just be the rain edition.
Yeah.
So
I do think, I mean, I don't think Gary's going to keep it in October.
I'm pretty sure he won't.
But I think if you got the right October day, it'd be right for, it would be like a beautiful, you know, fall colors, sunny but like colder, and you could definitely probably bring the course record down, or at least the men's. I don't know, the women's might stand for quite a while with conditions. They probably would have taken down that record because they had each other to really work off all day yesterday, and push each other constantly, I think. So,
Yes.
yeah.
What's interesting too is talking about that. So 2018, that smoke year that you ran. There was actually, I'm noticing here, 3 of the top 5 women's times actually came from that year. If I'm correct, I believe. So Courtney DeWalter, her time was 8:22.15, and then I hope I'm pronouncing this, is it Darby Kai?
Darby Kai.
So she was in second that year, 8:45.22, and then you were behind her with the 4th fastest time overall in 9:03.40. So and that was a tough year just with the smoke. I think. I can't remember if it was worse on the Sunday or the Saturday.
Sunday was worse.
Okay.
Yeah, so there was a little bit, I think, for us, and it definitely wasn't a clear sky day by any means. But yeah, I think the Sunday for the 50Kers and the 23Kers was way more smoky.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I remember I thought it was so cool that Courtney was here and everything, but I also was like, oh, like Squamish and the views, and you can't see them. I'm like, it's not usually like this.
Yeah.
It's like if that was your first experience in Squamish, I would feel terrible. I'd like, please come back on a nice day, because it is incredible. Like, just to give our viewers here some perspective as to where we are. So behind us, behind this Squamish 50 banner that's constantly getting moved in the wind, is just an incredible view of the Squamish Chief. It's absolutely beautiful here at the starting line, even though it's raining and it's a little wet, but yeah. Let's maybe give a shout out to some of our awesome sponsors today. The presenting sponsor is Nestor's Market. I have a little confession. So this weekend I've just been pretty much eating. I've been pretty much living off of pesto turkey wraps from Nestor's Market. This weekend was my first experience with Nestor's Market, and I've spent a lot of money there. It's fantastic. I hope they get one out in Abbotsford, where I'm from, because it's absolutely awesome.
I don't know if they still have it, but they used to have the best dried mango from the bulk section of anywhere in British Columbia.
Okay,
however, due to COVID, I think their bulk is probably gone. Yeah, because I walked through there the other day, being like, "Can I get the mango?"
Yeah.
But no, it was like perfectly dried.
Yes.
None of the sugar coating.
Yeah, you don't need the sugar.
Really
You don't need the sugar.
flavorful mango. My husband and I would come when we drive through Squamish and buy like a kilo, and we'd be lucky if the bag was even like still had any left in it by the time we got to Vancouver.
I would get these huge bags of like dried mangoes, and then I would just eat them within like a few days. And you'd think like, oh, like it's super healthy, it's mango. But then you think, how many mangoes are being condensed into these dry pieces? And you're like, wow, I've probably eaten like 50 mangoes in the last couple of days. But
same with apricots. They're not as good as mangoes, but same problem.
Oh, they're delicious.
So I think if you're in Squamish, pesto turkey wraps from Nestor's and dried mangoes, if you can get them. There's tons of stuff there, though. We also want to give a shout out to Solomon, Sunto, Princeton Tech, and the Executive Suites Hotel and Resort, which is hosting a lot of our runners today.
8-2 male runners just went through the final aid station, meaning they're about an hour away. They were only 10 seconds apart.
Okay, so we just got an update from Gary Robbins. So if I heard that correctly, the lead two males just went through, which aid station was
The
that?
final.
Final aid
So
station.
10K left.
10K left.
Yeah.
Far side aid station. So we're going to actually be expecting them here pretty soon.
Yeah.
We aren't sure who those males are.
Oh yeah, it's Brendan and Etienne.
Okay, so we did just get an update on that. So the first two males coming through, Brendan Hunt, who is a Squamish local, his wife Tara Holland was signed up she did the 50 mile. Unfortunately, she had to drop yesterday, but I know she's probably out there supporting Brendan on course. And then the second place male, as far as we know, I believe that's Etienne Robert. He's from Gatineau, Quebec. I believe he won the Squamish 50 in 2018, and then in 2019 I think he had a second place finish, so very familiar with the course. Another one of those amazing Quebec runners that we were talking about this a lot yesterday with, we've had a lot of BC athletes go over to Quebec and race some of their big races, and they're doing very well over there. We've had especially so yesterday we had Jenny Quilty on the show. She had a lot of success at the Ultra Trail Harcana this year, and I think what Quebec is now doing is they're sending over some of their runners to BC to sort of get that back.
Reciprocate.
So I think hopefully maybe what we're doing here is we're creating a battle between BC and Quebec over the years. Speaking of some of the other provinces though too, there's a lot of top runners that come out here every year from Alberta too.
Yeah.
And I think if you live in Alberta, depending on where you live, if you have access to sort of the foothills or you can drive the Rockies for your big longer training runs, this type of terrain would be super familiar to you, like steep, up, down, rocky. But in Quebec, like I think a lot of their trails are a little more flowing and hills, but maybe not really huge sustained climbs. Depends obviously where you live, but I think the technicality from their trails often comes more from maybe the roots and the footing, but not so much from the kind of vert.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've every year there seems to be some just absolute crushers coming over from Alberta, and some really fast men and women that come over here every year and seem to do really well. I think we should go maybe over some of the top results from yesterday in the 50 mile. Just give everybody a recap. So yesterday we had the 50 mile race. Had some incredibly fast times. So the top 5 men were Mike Siddick in 7:43.47, and again, he was a guy that he started the 50K today, so he was signed up for the 50-50, but unfortunately had to drop at Quest, and that's completely understandable with how hard they ran yesterday. Just the fact that he showed up to the start line today was pretty incredible.
And I think based on when I'd recently been chatting with Nick and then from watching their interviews yesterday, I think their game plan was sign up for the 50-50, but race the 50 miler like it's the only race you're doing, and then try and get through the 50K if possible. Whereas kind of listening to Mary-Ev and stuff, I think it was a little bit more measured and keeping in mind what their race the next day was. There wasn't quite so much a leave it out all out on the course and then try to survive the Sunday. So it'll be interesting to see how Mike explains his I don't know, he must have made it through 30K.
Yeah.
33K or 32, 33K. So
yeah, and as far as we know, so second place yesterday, another 50-50 runner, Nick Elson. We're almost sure he's out there racing today again, but we'll try and confirm. He was right behind Mike yesterday in 7:44.18, and again, like you said, these guys. The 50K today was pretty much an afterthought, and I didn't know that going into the weekend. When I was thinking, okay, who can we expect to see sort of in the top men's field in the 50 mile, I was thinking Nick and Mike would probably sit back a bit strategically, and then Gary confirmed, no. They're
racing.
They only care about the 50 mile. Let's figure out the 50K Sunday morning.
Yeah. And as Nick said, he's solely doing the 50-50 for those 5 UTMB points, so he needs to get 10 points in 2 races. So for the 50 miler, he would get 3 points, but then I think it's impossible for him to get 7 points in another race. I think the most you can get per race is 5. Someone on the internet, please correct me, I may have that backwards, but I do know that as far as he understood, to get the 5 points from this weekend, he has to do the 50-50, and then he'd have to go get another 5 points, I think, somewhere else, to be able to do UTMB in 2022.
I've never understood the UTMB the way it went, and it's
and
always
changed it all the time too.
Don't even try and learn because now they're just switching to stones.
It's coins, it's stones, it's tokens.
Yeah.
It's always changing. But yeah, that's interesting. I think Nick partially probably doing it for the UTMB points, but then also rumor is you do get a hat if you finish the 50-50.
I checked, it looks as if bid number 1535 did not start this morning.
Okay, so maybe Nick didn't start. We're just hearing this now. Again, a lot of the updates we're getting, it's hard to know who's out there for sure, but it sounds like Nick Elson maybe did not start the 50K today. So the remaining top 5 50-mile runners from yesterday in the men's field, we had Marcus Ribby, 7:55.03, Brandon Gardner, 8:10.53, and Brendan Morden in 8:34.19. And then in the women's, we all know who won the 50 mile. On my right here, Anne-Marie Madden in 9:44.36. And then I believe behind her we had Mary-Ev Legrand in 10:04.53. And the cool thing about Mary-Ev is she, very similar to how Nick and Mike battled it out yesterday, Mary-Ev and Tara were pretty close throughout the whole day, and it was our understanding up until close to the end that actually Tara was leading the 50-50, so she would have been in second place throughout the day. And then we heard sort of last minute, no, Mary-Ev's actually in front. They both came in with about 3 minutes, but again,
did she pass her just after the smoke bluffs? I think, I think so.
Yeah, that was my understanding of it. Unfortunately, Tara didn't start the 50K today. totally understandable. I mean, I believe she gave birth to a child 14 months ago. So the fact
I
that
know.
she's just out
Yeah.
here,
Impressive.
out here crushing it, and
Yeah.
she also. I should also point out that I believe she won the Survival of the Fittest 18K like a month or so ago. So she's
Awesome.
just absolutely crushing it.
And it's not just about having like gone through all the physical effects and changes of having a baby, but now you also have to fit in training with the child. Like that's the hard part, because that's just like fitting in long runs when you've also got this other tiny human who's like depending on you must take a lot of coordination and probably support between two partners to plan.
Yeah,
A
absolutely.
lot of coordination.
I think we'll go into a quick update on where everybody's at in the 50-50 standings now that we got some more information, but I also do want to just quickly shout out, so as far as we know, our women's race leader today in the 50K is Catherine Short. I believe she's from, is it Honeymoon?
Seychelles, or Honeymoon Bay.
Honeymoon Bay, I think it's
Sunshine Coast.
Yeah, the Sunshine Coast.
There's a half moon
It's Half
Bay
Moon
on
Bay,
it.
and I
Honeymoon
knew
Bay
I.
Cowichan.
sounds cool.
Honeymoon Bay sounds
Cowichan.
way better. It's Half Moon Bay, and I remember I was like, I'm going to make this mistake. I think I wrote it down to you as Honeymoon Bay. So, yeah, and apparently she's got a really comfortable lead. This is her first time running the Squamish 50. I've talked to people that have run with her, and she's apparently she's just in great shape. So
She is, yeah.
yeah, that's awesome to see. So, to sort of recap where we're at with the 50-50 standings, as far as we know, based off of who showed up today and where everybody's at. So, the top two men that would have been Mike Siddick and Nick Elson. They're both out right now. I believe who would have been third place, Alex Petrowski. I don't believe he started as well. So there's a mix of, depending if they started today, we would have John Harrison Pockler, who is from Toronto, Ontario, Charles Perrin, Charles Perot-Minot, Herman Alago, and then Colin Miller. Colin Miller is a guy that we talked a lot about yesterday. Colin Miller is going for his 6th hat this year, and he's somebody that, even though I think he was somewhere around 8th or 9th yesterday in the 50-50 standings by the end of the 50 mile, he's somebody that he's run this race so many times, you could expect Colin Miller to easily win the 50-50 today. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
And he probably ran the 50 miler as if he's doing the
He
whole
knew what he
thing
was-
for
yeah.
sure. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't a maybe I'll do the 50K. It was probably a very measured and intentional pace to sustain also 50K today.
Absolutely. Looking at all the 50-50 runners when they came through, so Nick Elson, Mike Siddick, they were both wrecked when they came through. Colin Miller was probably, he probably looked the best to run today based off of how he came in yesterday. Very calm, composed, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's our first 50-50 runner to come over today. But there are a few people, from our understanding, that are ahead of him. So.
Alex Petrowski did not start, and
Okay.
I saw Colin Miller walking around the starting area, and he looked totally normal to me.
Well, and this is Colin Miller's bread and butter again.
Yeah.
So he's run this. This is going to be his 6th finish today, and basically every time he signs up for this thing, Gary has to create a new color of hat. This year, I believe it's purple. Assuming that Colin signs up next year, we're going to have to come up with a new color of hat.
He's experimented with two-tone hats before, so now it's going to be tri-tone or multiple panels. Of
What about
different colors.
glitter?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, glitter, exactly. So
Hologram.
There were some.
Or a
time to get
tie-dye
funky
would
with
never
it.
be the same, so he could start tie-dyeing them, and
Yeah.
every year, every hat would be unique.
There was a runner yesterday that came across in sort of a Paddington Bear style hat.
Oh, was
one
that
of those.
Dimitri?
Yes,
Yes.
it was. It
Yeah.
was one of those yellow hats, and I thought, like, this is excellent. This is amazing.
Very smart.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, it's going to be super exciting to see those 50-50 runners come today. And actually, let's talk about some of So, I believe 156 total runners signed up for the 50-50 this weekend. That doesn't mean that necessarily all of them, showed up to start today. We know that there were some that didn't start, but we had, at least signed up, we had 132 runners that were going for their first hat today, which is the blue hat. That was 95 males and 37 females. The two-time finishers, which is the green hat, we had 12 males and 4 females signed up. The third-time finisher hat, which is the yellow hat, we had 2 males and 2 females signed up, and then we had 2 runners signed up for the orange hat, which is what you get if you on your 4th finish. We had 1 runner, which is last year's, or not last year's, I always want to say last year's, but the 2019 men's 50-50 winner, David Myers.
Yeah.
He's going for his 5th finish this year, which is the black hat. And then, as we said, Colin Miller going for that purple hat this year.
Unfortunately, David dropped yesterday.
Okay, so as we're getting updates in here from.
Colin is putting another year on him, another year lead.
So unfortunately, it sounds like David, again, another guy that had to drop out. So yeah, it looks like Colin's going to build that gap on the hat gap there. So
It also looks like at far side, the third male came in 2 minutes behind second male, so it looks like it's going to be quite a race.
That is like,
Yeah.
it's still 10K
And it's James
to go.
Tilley.
A couple little climbs that could shake up kind of in any way.
and do we know who that was, or do we have
James Tilley.
James Tilley? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, and I believe is he a Squamish local or in Vancouver? I guess we can find out here. James Tilley, yes, is Squamish local. So he's probably super familiar with these trails, and so as far as we know, he's the 3rd place male today, so that is awesome.
2 minutes behind at far side, yeah. So
And so Farside Aid Station, so where we're starting to get updates for runners now, let's say Farside to here, that's about, what's the distance there?
I
like?
think it's
10K?
10 in my
It's
mind,
about
yeah.
10K, and
it's very hard.
It's very hard. Okay, I think if I remember correctly, it's that 10K. If you look on the course elevation profile, it doesn't look like there's a ton of climbing left, but there always is.
Yeah, so actually yesterday I was running it. It felt like there was less than I remembered in my mind. Maybe because I was moving slower than I usually do. But it's still very like windy, and there are these like little hills that I think if you're jogging them versus hiking them, it's enough that someone could create a gap or pass another person. And I think how fresh your legs are for some of those little technical descents will kind of make a difference as to how fast you move through that terrain. And yesterday running it, it was unlike any other year. You know, a lot of the straightaways were just pure stream. A lot of the rock, you never really know how slippery it's going to be when it's just completely drenched. And then you've got some wooden stairs when you're coming down to sort of like the final stretch. That I was like very carefully holding onto the banner because I didn't want to just slip and like end up down 40 stairs at the bottom on my butt. But
Absolutely, it's almost so wet that you're almost looking forward to hitting Loggers Lane in that pavement. I know a lot of times, as trail runners, we don't like hitting the pavement or anything, but it's almost like a nice relief on the.
well, at least you could like turn your mind off. You don't have to. You just like shuffle, put one foot in front of the other, and hopefully you won't trip on cement.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of when we can expect the first runners coming in,
Maybe 40 minutes.
Yeah.
40 minutes. So they've been out here. Today's 50K race started at 6:15, I think, in the morning. So maybe we can actually go over some of the top 50 and the top 5 times. So looking at the top 5 times for men and women sort of over the years on that 50K course. So the course record was set in 2014 by Adam Campbell. Really stellar time, 4:55.08. In 2017, we had Marcus Ribby in 5:02. Marcus raced yesterday. He was 3rd overall in the 50 mile. We had Vincent Pago, that same, or am I pronouncing that right? Pago? Vincent Pago? Vinny, I think they call him. We'll go with Vinny.
Vinman.
Yeah, actually, Vinny, I think he had a great race yesterday in Chilliwack. I think he was out there around the lake, and I think he did pretty
nice.
well. So I know he's recently moved to Chilliwack. So and then Brendan Trimboli in 2016 in 5:12:45, and Mike McMillan also in 2016 was 5:13:58. And then the top 5 women's times, no surprise there.
Ellie Greenwood.
Ellie Greenwood, she has the top. She has the top time in everything from Western states, you name it.
I could be wrong, but I think was 2014 the year her and Eric Carter sprint finished the last kilometer of the race, and I think, I may be wrong about that.
No,
but there
we
was
should,
definitely one year, and I don't think it was the 50 miler. I think it was the 50K that her and Eric came like sprinting down the.
We can
down the
actually,
last section here.
we can pull that up right now. And in what year was that?
2014.
2014 in the 50K. We'll probably be able to tell with times here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so yeah.
There you go.
Yes, actually. So it looks like that was
She
the
was
year.
third overall.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. So that was the year that Adam set the 50K
Male
course record.
Yeah.
And then
3 seconds.
3
apart.
seconds between
Wow.
Eric Carter and Ellie Greenwood that year. Wow, that would have been incredible to watch.
I know, and she can finish. Like she knows how to finish so strong.
And the great thing about Ellie too is she's always out here
I know, yep.
volunteering. We saw her this morning. I've seen her all weekend. She's always out here. She loves just being out here and helping out runners in any way she can.
Yeah, she was at so yesterday she was at Quest a lot of the day, and this morning she was at Corners, and she saw Mike Siddick come through, and she said he still seemed sort of cheery, but definitely different than yesterday. Like he was kind of making it or letting her know that he was sort of a bit sore, and it was a lot tougher. So that I guess that would have been another 15K for him to get to Quest, and then I guess he decided to pull it up there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ellie's time in 2014 there was 5:20:39, which is absolutely incredible. The second top women's time in the 50K, 5:36:14. Rachel Jayton, and then Anna Frost.
No slouch.
Yeah, no slouch. Absolutely. 2016, she was 5:41:10. Arden Young in 2017 in 5:43.
Lived here, and then now
She's in Canmore.
Yeah, and dentist and.
Canmore is apparently a pretty cool place to run too.
Quite beautiful.
Whenever I look at Alberta runners that are coming over here and doing really well, and you look at where they're from, it's always Canmore.
Always.
It's always, and I always think like, wow, they're just absolute crushers in Canmore that seem to do really well. So that's awesome. And then the fifth, rounding out the top 5 women's time overall from the 50K is Catherine Jones, which was 2014 in 5:51:11.
She's such a Canadian superstar. Like
on road and...
Yeah, totally. She does both road and trail. I'd probably say she's done more kind of road or kind of non-technical trail in the last few years, and just setting Canadian course records. So just last year she set a new record. She's really, or it might even have been this spring, but
The 50 mile, right?
yeah. So she's sponsored by Hoka now, and I know she actually wanted to race in Whistler yesterday to do the race up there,
Right.
But the ferries were all booked out. She lives in Victoria and couldn't make it over, so she's probably a bit sad. She said she wanted to go race that and then come hang out here and catch up with people. But maybe next year we'll get her back.
I heard the weather wasn't much better
Better
in
up
Whistler
there,
either.
totally.
I don't. Yeah. One thing we haven't mentioned today, which we mentioned several times yesterday, is something called the atmospheric river, which is the latest buzzword that you're hearing around. If you Google atmospheric river, I think it's just a picture of us under here will show up immediately, or something around Squamish. This is, I don't know if this is record rainfall that we're having this year, but it's absolutely insane. It's
apparently it was 77 millimeters yesterday.
Yeah, and I think over the weekend it's supposed to be a lot more.
Isn't it a month's worth of rain in a few days?
It's a month's worth of rain condensed into a weekend, and I mentioned this yesterday on the live broadcast after reading over the pre-race email that went out to the runners. I think that there was 3 words to describe how much it's going to rain, and it just said, "It gon' rain." And I thought, yeah, this is just absolutely perfect.
And Catherine Short is now through far side, and she's 4th overall. So that's our first woman.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is
Okay,
incredible.
so we just found out the first female racer has made it through far side. We'll
Yeah.
find out who that is shortly, but she is on pace to possibly break a record.
So yeah, let's figure this
We'll
out.
see how
So
she
we
does
just got
in the,
word that
final
Catherine
times.
Short, who has been leading the women's race, the 50K all day, just came through far side. So she's probably, would you say, an hour-ish out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Depending. I mean, I know that the weather time. So then
Do some math.
So she
Yeah,
was through at 10:48.
she's through at 10:48. Now we don't necessarily have splits from the previous years, but let's look at some of the top 5 times. So 10:48. We got Anne Marie doing
Yeah. So that would be, she's probably at 3 hours and 30 minutes, right? If they
Started
started
at 6:15.
6:15 to 10:15, 4 hours, 4 hours and 30.
So
For-
she could be
What time
very
of day is
close.
it? Sorry. Yeah.
It's
So,
10.
She's
so I think,
she could be looking at a top 5 time.
There's her time.
yeah.
4:30.
So
Okay.
it'll be close. If it takes her an hour, she'd be maybe 10 minutes back from course record. But if
If it took her an hour, if it takes her an hour to get here from far side, then she would be
5:30.
really close to the
Yeah.
second fastest
Yeah,
time,
exactly.
which is super impressive. I think
Yeah.
maybe Ellie's time is probably out of reach, which is understandable in this weather, but that second overall
Yeah.
time, that would be incredible. And even more incredible is she's 4th overall right now,
Yeah.
which is just absolutely awesome. I love seeing women up there just crushing it. Yeah, that's perfect. We don't really have any updates on the.
So we know that the lead female right now is Catherine Short coming around, so we will look forward to seeing her shortly. So that was an unintentional
I'm
pun.
assuming
It really
that
was.
Mariev would still be the leader in the
control-
women's
don't control
50-50, but
it.
we haven't had a ton of updates coming through yet in terms of men or women who's placed where. There's also the tricky thing with trying to calculate the overall standings is the 50-50 is you're taking the previous day's time, and then you're looking at who showed up to start today and then adding on that time today. Again, I would expect Colin Miller to make up some time there today, but yeah, we'll let you know as we get more updates throughout today. I'm thinking we can probably expect the first men's runners pretty soon.
Yeah, because they were through far side. They were through far side at around 10:30.
At around 10:30. Okay, and I believe that's Brendan and Etienne.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they were about 15 seconds apart. And Brendan looked freezing.
Yeah. Brendan, I don't think Brendan has run the 50K here before, but I know he has run the 23K. I'm not sure if it was a year when you maybe would have raced him. Let's see here. So
Does he have the course record on the 23K?
I think he did have the course record, but I think that got taken in 2019. So in 2018, I think he did. Yeah. Okay. So I have that here. So in 2018, Brendan Hunt, he won the 23K, set a course record of 1:43.49. But then I think the following year, somebody else came in, and I'm trying to think of the name. Is it Alexander
Ricardo?
Alexander Ricardo. Yeah, that might be it.
I think you're right.
In 2019. But anyway, still an absolutely stellar time. And the fact that Brendan has such a fast time from 2018 on the 23-kilometer course, I would imagine that's got to play in his favor.
Yeah. And compared to the 50-miler yesterday, when you're running the last 17K here, you have less fatigue in your legs, so they might still be moving through that section a bit faster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And as far as we know, behind him is Etienne Robert, again, a guy from Gatineau, Quebec. Definitely familiar with the Squamish 50K course. He has 4 finishes. He has 3 50K finishes and then 1 50-mile finish, but he's been first, second, and fourth overall. Most recently, he was second in the 50K in 2019. So another guy who's going to be very familiar with the course, and I would imagine that these two are going to be pushing each other pretty hard out there.
Yeah, and then James Tilley only another 2 minutes back.
Yeah.
Exactly. One guy that I believe was, I don't know for sure if he made it today, but we were talking a bit about yesterday, Jesse McCauley, Squamish local, 21-year-old guy, somebody who was, I think Chris Jones referred to him yesterday as the Nick Elson protege. Yeah, Nick Elson 2.0. So as soon as he said that, I was very interested in who this was, but we don't have word on how he's doing or anything like that. Do we know about Jesse McCauley?
Yeah, so
we're gonna try and
sorry, for today's standings.
Yeah.
I know that him and Nick did the Tantalus Traverse this summer and set an FKT on that together. And there's a great video if you watch on like them describing the day out there and a couple of interviews. And I mean, if you know Nick, you know how humble he is. And then if you watch this, I think you get the impression Jesse's equally as humble, basically just saying like, oh, Nick could have gone a lot faster if I wasn't there, like holding them back and stuff. So they seem like a good pair out there, just sort of crushing the local FKTs in an incredible fashion. So
absolutely.
It's nice to see. It's nice to see that next generation that we'll probably be watching for the next couple of decades.
Absolutely. And I also think they're both both Jesse and Nick are both sort of all around. Like I wouldn't even describe them as like, I mean, yes, they're ultra runners, but sort of all around just mountain athletes, right?
Sure. And,
skiing, everything.
Totally.
Climbing.
Yeah.
And like like Nick mentioned, specifically for the Tantalus Traverse, you want to think of that type of thing as like a mountaineering light, not extreme trail running, because I think if you were to go into that terrain without, like you're saying, the rock climbing skills and the mountaineering skills, it'd be quite dangerous. So they're just sort of blending the two, but you need to have that very important set of skills to keep yourself safe when you're out there.
And I'm hoping the weather was better than it is today.
It was a lot better than
there. A lot better. And every day of the year is better weather than this. So, so one person I want to talk a bit about is our current, as far as we know, the last we heard, female leader right now, 4th overall, Catherine Short. So as you mentioned, Half Moon Bay. Not Honeymoon Bay sounds a lot cooler.
There's
but
a Honeymoon Bay.
There is a Honeymoon Bay somewhere.
Yeah, in Cowichan.
I think it is Half Moon.
Yeah.
So she's. I believe she's a registered massage therapist. She lives, as we said, in Half Moon Bay. This is her first time running the Squamish 50, but she's named just that I keep hearing about over and over again. I think she's somebody that we will continue to see for years to come, right up there with a lot of the top women, maybe in this race and then in races all across North America.
Definitely.
I think she grew up mountain bike racing, and then I guess more recently transitioned into ultra running. I wasn't able to pull a lot of race data on her because I think she is relatively new to ultra running. I think she does still mountain bike race. Yeah, absolutely. One thing I did notice when looking, trying to gather some information on her is she did have quite the. Well, I mean, everybody had quite the FKT season in 2020. Absolutely. So a lot of races weren't happening in 2020. So everybody kind of went and said, you know what, I'm going to go and do my own thing, and I'm going to pick a mountain or pick a route and try and get the fastest time. So she has some really incredible FKTs here. So I'll just read off a few of them. I believe she has the House Sound Crest Trail north to south FKT, and I believe she did that with Laurel Booker, who is also racing the 50K today. Laurel Booker would be another name that I would expect to see up there with the top women today. And so that House Sound Crest Trail, 5:55:46. That's a pretty incredible time. I've never done the House Sound Crest. Have either of you done the House Sound Crest Trail?
Not the full thing.
Not as like an FKT or a race.
I've heard.
Not a race, it's not a race, but like not as a.
I've heard it doesn't go fast.
It's very technical.
It's very technical. It's, I don't even know if you could call it a run, as you're just constantly kind of climbing over rocks.
Depending on the, so if you go, so for those who are not from the West Coast, if you start south would be at Cypress Mountain, which is like a local Vancouver ski mountain. And then to north would end kind of, actually not that far from Squamish here. And in a way, because you're almost going downhill, but that's not that's not an accurate way of putting it, because you're doing a lot of climbing. But you kind of start in like the very technical, extremely rooty, slow moving from Cypress, and then as you come across, there's some very slow sections, like when Tara Berry, who was third yesterday, did it. She described like there was like ice when they were coming across some of the rock sections that, you know, was actually quite treacherous. And then you get more into some more runnable terrain when you're kind of near Brunswick and stuff like that, and then you get past Deeps Lake. But it's
smooth,
impressive.
smooth,
trail.
buffed out. California single track, basically.
Maybe for about like 300 meters near that little red cabin, there's probably some nice buffed out trail.
From the parking to the trailhead.
She's got quite a list.
Well, I'm looking at some other ones here.
impressive.
We've got, so again, 2020, Panorama Ridge. Again, this is with Laurel Booker.
Okay.
And as we mentioned, that's another top female out there running today. I know Laurel a little bit, and I get the impression they do a lot of training runs, FKT attempts together. It's super cool. And then one that stands out to me here is the Sunshine Coast Ferry to Ferry. That's 89 kilometers. And she did that in 9:42:08. It's pretty incredible. And then Brunswick Mountain Return, 221:40.
Very steep.
That's a lot of climbing. And then return too. So you're going all the way up and then
down
and back.
Yeah.
And I mean, how hard I've actually never done Brunswick, but that's something we were talking about a bit yesterday. And I've heard it's up and then it's straight down.
Down.
And it's if people are doing it as a hike, there are zero views until you finally get to the peak, you know, so it's you like work, and then you get your reward at the top, and then you turn around in a bit of a quad crashing descent, but it's a beautiful local hike.
Yeah.
And that's an impressive time for her
Yeah.
to have the FKT return. Oh, the
We
famous
should.
Green.
Ellie Green, we were just talking about come back. We just had a little bit of a cameo with
She just
our,
brought me coffee. Do you want
coffee.
Do you have one?
I got one, thank you.
Do you
Yeah.
want to have one?
No, I'm good, thanks. I've had too much coffee already today.
I've been overlaying some videos that Hillary has been taking.
Oh,
wonderful.
So far, the men coming through Farside. So as
Fantastic.
we're talking, I've just been dropping those.
Okay,
Get
great.
some
So
live footage.
Oh, yeah,
are we?
can
Do we
see
have this? Do we have this?
again?
We can. I mean, if you bring up.
Yeah, let's do the feed.
I don't want to put our YouTube feed on our screen because then I'll be distracted and I'll just be
Looking
watching
at
myself
yourself?
the entire
I'll be
time.
distracted.
Here they are right here. Do you want to look?
It's on a long delay, so it'll be very weird to watch.
Okay.
So if you are watching,
Okay, so I can't comment in real
you could just absolutely. You could. It might be interesting. It would confuse our viewers. So the final, the other FKT I noticed that she had here. Again, we're talking about Catherine Short, our women's leader. Mount Elphinstone. I'm not sure. Do we know where that is?
It's on the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah.
Okay, Sunshine Coast. So
I feel like I have a lot of friends who went to Camp Elphinstone as children. It was like a summer camp, presumably near Mount Elphinstone.
some people camp there, others get FKTs there, and so I was super excited to see Catherine come through. And again, as we get more information, I'd love to know who the second and third place female runners are, where they're at on course, and then also if anybody on the live feed today has any updates, maybe they know stuff that we don't, maybe they're out there on the course, feel free to leave comments in the chat for us, because like I said, we only get updates when we can. We do have people on the course. Thankfully, we have Hillary out there who's braving it in the rain, getting us videos, and she's done an incredible job this whole weekend. So thank you, Hillary. While we stay nice and dry and sort of warm, sort of a damp, a little bit drier than you were yesterday, I guess. But Yeah, so let's see, it's 11:05, so yeah, we can be probably expecting the when do you
In the
think
next 20 minutes or so?
the next 20
maybe?
minutes?
25,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that'll be super exciting. And then I should also say that if anybody out there watching wants a more exact list of the runners that have come through and their times, you can go to racedaytiming.ca, and those are updated pretty frequently. So as soon as runners come in, they cross the line, those will get updated. You can just keep hitting refresh. That's what we've been doing if we need to get any results. And also I would say check out our social media feed. So there's Squamish 50, Coast Mountain Trail races on Instagram. I know that Hillary's out there updating those. Lots of great video content getting posted today.
So far, there's someone whose YouTube handle is Dr. SLV, who's very pleased to see our crew today. Asks how common injuries are due to slipping out there on a day like today.
Do we have any updates on injuries yesterday?
I asked Gary. He said surprisingly it wasn't too bad. Like he was prepared for there being a lot more.
Maybe people were being a little bit cautious.
I think so. I suspect so.
We did have some, like a lot of the guys that, the men and women that came in and interviewed with us yesterday, you know, they had bumps and bruises on their legs. And I think some of that was probably to do with there's some really slick rocks from what I understand in the back half of the course around the last 10K maybe.
And some of the wood can be really bad. And there's quite a few of those sort of mountain bike either bridges or paths. And those are extremely slick right now. And I know Mike Siddick was just driving yesterday watching Nick go over one and then wipe out. And I think that's where he gashed his knee open. So yeah, I think it all depends how hard you're pushing, and the more cautious you are, obviously, all those moments of hesitation and being careful do add up. And I think that's what leads to sort of overall sort of slower times, partly, is people being careful because they want to finish and they
well, with the exception maybe being Mike Murphy, which is what sort of Mike Murphy is sort of a local Squamish legend. In most years, and I'm not sure if they still do this, but there's something called the Mike Murphy Award in all of Gary's races, and that's given out to the person, the male or female that comes through with the biggest war
Who's
wounds
the most
from the
injured?
day. Whenever I race Gary's courses, I have in the back of my mind, I think like, okay, there is that Mike Murphy Award, so if I do bail and I get a bit of blood on me,
it's worth it.
I leave it on. Like, I'll go through an aid station and they'll be like, hey, like, can we clean it up for you? I'm like, no, I'm going for the Mike Murphy Award here. Like,
you need that dirt.
I need that
and
dirt,
the blood.
and I might take a bit of mud and just put it all over me. But
and do you have ketchup for those potatoes? No.
Yeah, absolutely. Anne-Marie, I think something that I actually wanted to ask you about yesterday. We talked to some of the runners that came through that we were interviewing. How does like fueling change, like in a really wet and cold day? Like
handling fueling during races, and like the all liquid nutrition on a hot day is probably the easiest thing for me. But there's no way you can do all liquid nutrition on a day like yesterday or today. Unless I try not to go rogue with the
men's course record is 4 hours 55, and we're at 4 hours 54.
Means you're getting a fair bit of water for your calories. And yesterday, I'm not even sure my insensible losses through respiration were like anything significant. And so, I mean, this is way too much information, but I hope this much.
You just go.
It was, by the end you're like,
nobody's
what
gonna
does it
know?
matter?
Yeah.
And the next thigh-high like puddle is just gonna wash it all away. But no, it's pretty hard you have to really change your nutrition on a day like today or yesterday. You don't need that much water, like compared to usual, like a third. And even then, I felt like I was sort of overhydrating, and I didn't want to be the person who came in hyponatremic, getting rushed to the
emergency.
Send
the doctor to the doctors.
How would you have approached it? Maybe would you approach it differently than when you ran in 2018? Do you think, or?
I'm just trying to think. It wasn't a sprint. Just to Anne-Marie's point, you wouldn't have been sweating at all. So, trying to get in some solid calories would have been important. I'm trying to remember what I did in 2018, and It's all a blur.
I just make it up as I go.
Yeah.
Just sort of. I'm the kind of person that I like to try new things on race days, so it kind of keeps things spicy, and then.
Well, and for the most part, people would have been training for this through the summer and through the warmer months, and they hadn't had much of a chance to train in the colder, rainier weather. So it wouldn't. Maybe some people's nutrition would have had to switch completely on race day to what they trained for.
And the benefit of having a race with aid stations means if you do all of a sudden really crave potatoes or potato chips or pretzels or more solid, salty food that
it's all there.
Usually you just go for gels and some fluid. You can modify on the go, but it's you can like be prepared, but then every race will kind of evolve and you just kind of troubleshoot as you go.
Okay, I should say that we are expecting our top runners to come in very shortly. So if it looks like we just do a quick transition, that's because we've got some top runners in. But I believe we should have a little bit of a heads up for when they're coming in potentially. We'll see. It could be any time now, though. Maybe 10 minutes.
We have our superstar Hillary.
Yeah, we've just been joined. You can't see her now, but
where she's been waving the
yeah.
She just snuck in here.
You're wearing the same shoes again.
I tried them on my shoe tire last night.
Hillary
she has
is,
these. She's like very nicely Gore-Tex from head to toe, but then has these runners on that were.
You should just come in and say hi. We want to know who the people want to see. Who behind the scenes. Hillary is a rock star. She's been out there. This is a lag, so that's why you don't see us out here. But Hillary has been out there. She was out there yesterday, all day yesterday, today, just giving us constant updates. Every time we get an update, it's because she's sent us a message. All those amazing videos, those. The live footage you're seeing, it's all her. So thank you so much. Yeah,
effort to make this happen.
Teamwork makes the dream work. So but to be fair, we've been staying dry in here all day, and you've been out on the course. So.
Don't rub it in.
Yeah.
But yes, expecting the first runner in soon.
Awesome, thank you so much.
And they're battling it out.
Top two are 15 seconds apart, and they're flying. And then Catherine Short's in fourth. She moved up like 3 or 4 places, and she's hunting. So.
And do we know about maybe second or third?
Details. The top 2 runners are currently about 15 seconds apart, fighting for the position. So we may end up with a great sprint finish
I
here.
haven't heard that Alex has come too far side yet, but we'll get that
And
update.
the lead female, Catherine Short,
Exciting.
Thanks so much, Hillary.
4th overall.
That's great. So again, we're expecting some of the top runners coming through pretty soon here. Before we get them through, maybe we'll do a quick plug to some of our sponsors here. Hammer Nutrition, they're providing a lot of the race day nutrition, gels, heed, all the stuff that racers will be consuming out there at the aid stations. InBiz, Drymax, probably a lot of Drymax socks out there today, I'd imagine. Miller Capilano Maintenance Corporation and Allison Brome. They make the best ice cream. I don't know if you guys have had.
I sure have.
I don't know.
Squamish based? Or what?
I believe it's Squamish based. Yeah, I don't know if they're here this weekend, but I mean it's not exactly exactly ice cream season. But whenever the race happens in August, there's usually a little cart out there, and it's
delicious.
It is unbelievable.
Maybe some of the 50-50 runners like lay in their bed last night just trying to get in any
calories.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would you eat if you were doing the 50-50 and you just run the 50 miler? What would you eat that night?
A lot. The first thing that came to my mind was some sort of burger. So like the bread and the protein but maybe, I don't know. You'd have to eat a lot because you'd have to make up for the calories lost. And then who knows, I'd be curious to know how Mike and Nick's nutrition went yesterday, or Mariev's, and then how...
I know. I suspect they were, I don't know about Nick, but listening to Mike talk about, I think right near the end, coming up maybe one of the last climbs.
We are now just over 5 hours
so hungry.
Into the run.
He was squeezing, taking all the old gel wrappers from his vest and getting the last little drops out of it, which makes you think he was really just riding that fine line of bonky.
Redlining it.
That's one of the things that I find so fascinating with the 50-50, we talked a bit about this yesterday. I always think so when you come through and you finish your 50-mile race. It's almost technically that day the race is over for you, but really the race is still kind of going because you need to really take care of yourself.
You do.
That night and then the next morning for the 50K, and really I would almost say a lot of what you do, you can make a big difference on how you perform the next day. I would imagine, and I think getting in a lot of fuel. I remember being around the 50K in 2017, and I remember running with a guy that was running the 50-50 that year, and I was just like, what did you eat like yesterday? Like, how did you? And he just kept telling me, he's like, I just drank so much chocolate milk. And he was just all about the chocolate milk.
After the race, right? Or on course?
No, after the race,
Okay.
after the 50 mile, and I just thought,
milk on a hot day.
I think I actually see over there, is that Nick Elson?
That looks like his jacket.
Looks like
Yeah, I
Nick
think that's him.
Elson.
And I think Mike Siddick's over there.
You could grab him to come say hi. It looks like
let's bring more of these cameos in.
It looks like he has that. I ran the 50 mile yesterday, sort of limp.
He is in shorts.
Yeah. Nick Ellison does look like he's in shorts, that's not really surprising with him being a Squamish local, I guess, right?
And one more point to prepping for the next day, and I've never done the 50-50, and you said like you had a really bad sleep. I find it's really hard to get a good sleep the day after an ultra, so trying to get the fuel in and then go to bed and have a good sleep, you're not getting a good sleep.
Like you're saying, you probably won't sleep well. You have to just go in with it, okay, I might not actually sleep that much, but I'm just going to lie in bed and rest, and just not have my legs up.
Yeah.
And even if my brain is not getting a nice 8 hours of sleep,
at least you're not moving.
Not moving.
Do you find it's almost it takes you a little while to kind of calm down? Your mind is still going at like 100 miles per hour,
and your body's just kind of, I feel kind of on the fritz and trying to calm down, and like your for me my legs always feel restless and just feel kind of unwell, like sick, nauseous.
I think there have been some races where miraculously I've slept really well, but definitely there's a few. Yeah, you kind of get actual restless leg syndrome, and part of me's like, is it like, do I have uremia right now? Is it anemia? Like, what's causing this? They ache, and sometimes you've taken in a lot of caffeinated gels throughout the day, and like a lot more caffeine than you would normally consume potentially, and that's probably
so you're just jittery.
Yeah. You're kind of almost overtired too.
Yeah, and then having to worry about running the next day to add on to it. Like if you're not running already, you're jittery, and then you have the 50K to think about. So
every time I think about it, I just like huge shout out to all those runners that woke up today after running 50 miles yesterday and were like, I'm gonna run 50K today.
In the absolute pouring rain.
Yeah, and on top of that, in the rain, Gary said this yesterday, and this is 100% true. This is the hardest 50-50 race that's ever happened. It's probably the hardest 50K for Squamish so far, the hardest 50-mile Squamish event they've ever had, and the hardest 50-50. I mean, it's there are some years where it's a little bit warmer and heat plays a factor, but this is just on a totally different level, and it's not just the fact that it's extremely cold and wet, but it's also the course. It just adds another element of technicality to the course.
No, the course is definitely just harder to move through. And you've got more layers on, like everything feels kind of heavy. I think one of the nicest things about racing, maybe not if you're doing like a 100-miler, but some of these shorter races with aid stations is you don't have to carry that much because you just need to get enough to get to the aid station. So you can kind of feel like you're running a bit lighter than you would if you went out for a big training run where you're having to carry your 5 hours worth of food with you. But here, like, all your stuff is immediately just saturated with water. So you're like carrying these kilos of water around with you. Your shoes are, constantly getting fully soaked. And then
Did you do any gear changes at all yesterday? Did you have time for that?
I have to say I'm not like a really huge gear person. But I talked it over with Max, who's kind of coaches me from a distance. We chatted on the phone, and he said, you probably should wear tights. And then suggested I wear, like, there's this It's a very nice jacket.
Yeah.
But it's honestly quite high quality, and I was
The
surprised.
Gore-Tex one?
Yeah, but it actually kept me dry. Like, I couldn't believe that after 8 hours I was still dry, and I wore it over my pack, which meant that my pack and my like emergency stuff in it didn't get all wet. The downside was that like anytime I wanted to take food, I didn't have to like unzip it to take my water or my food out. So I was doing a lot of zipping and unzipping. And actually, don't tell Gary, but right as I was like starting the race, he was like, "Don't get lost." Probably because I missed the whole race briefing. But then my zipper did get stuck. You know when the material gets stuck and you're like,
Oh, yeah.
And I was like fiddling with it and running, and this was just after the Corners aid station. And then I kind of like finally got it fixed, and then looked up, and I was still running. And then I was like, I haven't seen a pink flag for a while, and realized I'd completely, because I'd had my head down trying to move the zipper, I missed the galactic turnoff. And so then I had to U-turn, and I was like, how many kilometers have I been running for? And it wasn't as far. I was prepared to have to run like 4 kilometers back before I found the turnoff, and it was within a K that I found it, so I was very relieved. But I, at that point, actually didn't know to have some of the women pass me, because I had zero info on course. I had no idea if they were 2 minutes back or an hour back. I didn't know what place I was.
And you ended up with 100K on the day because of all the getting lost. Why did her Strava show?
It was 100 mile.
Anne-Marie, you did 100 mile a day, but
thankfully not. No, I don't think it was more than a K or so or 2.
What do you, if you were? Oh, sorry. Do you have a?
I have a course update.
We have a course update.
We have second woman in at far side,
Okay.
Alex Miller. What was her last name?
Right,
Okay,
yes.
same.
Alex, and she's about 19 minutes behind.
Alex Harris.
Alex
I believe
Harris,
that's
sorry.
Who it was, yeah.
Alex Harris, and she's about 19 minutes behind first female, Catherine Short.
Yeah.
But I think with Alex, then that would be 2 women in the top 10 overall.
Yeah.
I think
that's
she might be
incredible.
in 7th-ish,
Okay,
based on
that
what
sounds
we're
about right.
what we're seeing in our.
And
Our
Hillary's
reports
saying
in.
same time gap as Quest, which is interesting, which means she's actually been running the same pace as Catherine Short for this whole winter, like for that big climb, descent, and then all the way to Farside.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see. Is she closing? It sounds like they're both moving really well.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys are in trouble, I think.
They better watch out.
And again, we're expecting them very shortly. So when we do expect them to come through, we'll probably just cut right to the finish line feed and have them come through. And I know Gary will be interviewing them. I'm excited to see. It sounds like Brendan. Okay, so we just got an update from Gary. Runners are on the home stretch. I believe that means maybe a kilometer or 2. It could be Smoke Bluffs that they came down from. Then.
Yeah, or does he mean the home stretch?
If he means the home stretch is in Loggers Lane, either way, I'm thinking the next 5 minutes or probably less than
So
that.
we know the runners are coming down the home stretch here, so
And
be
it's
ready to cheer.
runners, plural.
Yeah, I know. Oh my god.
Yes,
Could
that
be
is
a real battle.
Exactly, and now this is actually an interesting year because we had a couple of those yesterday. Then
Yeah.
we had.
So the last update we had was from the last aid station. The lead 2 runners were 10 seconds apart. Then it was Etienne and Brendan, and now we're going to find out who had the legs to close it out here just shortly.
Wing, do we want to go to? We'll just go to Gary.
So when you hear them at this point, they're on broadcast.
Okay.
So when we hear Gary, we'll let Gary. We'll give it over to Gary and let him talk. It's kind of his thing, so we'll let him do his thing. Every now and then, it's good to get him the mic. But
We're not on right now. Can I ask a question?
Oh no, we are on. Yeah,
Okay,
but you
we're
can
on.
still ask.
Okay.
You can still ask a question. We're super casual.
I was just gonna ask. What's the P? Can I go pee?
Oh yeah.
Thank you. I'm gonna wait. I want to see the
We'll do shifts. Yeah. No, absolutely.
everyone who's watching. So I
Yeah,
have
this
to
is
pee now.
super exciting. So we have we're expecting of runners at least coming through. It sounds like it could be one of those classic sprint finishes. It sounds like Brendan Hunt and Etienne Robert will both be coming through. That's super exciting. Maybe we'll all write down on our hands who we think's going to come through.
Should we place bets?
Compare after. And if you lose the bet, then you don't get a bathroom break. So be very strategic.
I'm stopping my coffee drinking.
Stop your coffee drinking now. I haven't touched my water, but this is super exciting.
Who are you betting?
I don't know.
I'm gonna say I think it'll be Brendan Hunt.
I think I see a runner, guys.
Okay. Well, I think it sounds like we have a runner. So here we go.
Men's 50K runners
coming in.
are about 8 seconds apart by the looks of things. There won't be a sprint finish. It has been determined, but it is a battle all the way to the finish line. Let us welcome our 2021 Squamish 50-kilometer champion, Brendan Hunt.
And he's moving.
Woo!
Awesome.
And if you stay with us, we'll see second place coming across here right away.
It's cold.
Brendan Hunt coming across at 5 hours, 12 minutes and change.
Wait, when I clap, is there
And second place.
clapping noise on the feed? Okay.
I was just kind of doing.
Here we go, coming in. It is James Tilley coming around.
James Tilley with a strong push over the last stretch. Going from third up into second. Amazing run, James. Looks like you just ran out of real estate there. The men's 50-kilometer champion is being congratulated by the women's 50-kilometer champion from 2019. They happen to be married. They're an exceptional couple. All right, my man. How did that was that you were running for your life, were you not?
I certainly was.
Did you? I saw you go through corners with a gap. You had about 2.5, 3 minutes from corners. Did anybody actually catch up to you, or were you running blind and scared all day?
Oh, no. Hey, I was getting caught up to on InvestSmart. I saw someone there, and they're just 30 seconds back, and got away a little bit, and then they caught up again at the bottom somewhere over there, and passed me briefly, and then I took the lead a few seconds later, and and then James just showed up just at
James just joined the party late unexpectedly.
Who's this guy? As soon as we hit the pavement, there he was. So I just had to really hammer it in home.
You're not known for your descents. I'll say that, having run with you a couple of times.
That's true.
You won the 23K a couple of years back with what was then a course record. This is the fastest time on this course, which is a bit longer than the official course record. Exceptional run out there, and is that our third place runner coming in right now? Oh yeah. Etienne, John, take it.
Yeah, Etienne and Robert coming in from Gatineau, coming on into the finish line, third place for the 50-kilometer.
Etienne, correct me if I'm wrong. Does this now mean you have the full collection of podium prizes? Yes, he has finished first, he has finished second, and today he completes the trifecta for third place in the 50K. Nicely done, my man. Good to have you back. I heard your training was almost entirely flat. Is this true?
Who said that?
Well, you got some friends that have been out here just, throwing you under the bus.
I did a lot less mountain stuff, and I felt it today, that's for sure.
Yeah, and how was this compared to the previous runnings that you've had on the course, just with the weather variable being thrown in?
I think it's more the darkness that got me.
Oh, really?
I took a few wrong turns, and I actually hiked up a waterfall at one point. I was more following the water than the actual signs.
Only today, this weekend, would you go up a waterfall, assuming that had to be the trail because you've already done it so many other times out there?
Yeah, it was up to here. It was pretty fun. It was just a few minutes.
You went canyoneering in the middle of the race.
Yeah, exactly.
Great to see you, my friend. Congratulations on third place. James Tilley, coming out of nowhere. I think you ran the smartest race out there today. Like I said, it looks like you just ran out of real estate. Stand over here, face everybody this way. You must have had the fastest split coming in from far side. When you got to the aid station, were they giving you splits to what was happening in front of you at that point?
Yeah, I was lucky I've had Mike Murphy crewing me. So he was on it with the timings, and he said about 2 minutes, and that these guys were within 30 seconds of each other. So he just said, push now, and I did, and... Whew.
That's all Mike ever says. Anyone that knows Mike is just push now from the start all the way to the finish. So you came through far side 2.5 minutes back of these guys, is that right?
Yeah, that was
So
it.
you basically ran 2 minutes and 22 seconds faster than Brendan all the way to the finish line.
I guess so. Until I kind of caught Brendan at the Bluffs parking lot, and then he just had a little bit more.
He does have legs from running track at Waterloo, is that right? Well, Guelph, way back in the day. So yeah, it's tough to outrun this guy on flat. Congratulations, amazing run out there today. Well done. Round of applause for our top 3 men's podium. Amazing efforts. Live broadcast right here, gentlemen. When you get changed out and warmed up, you have to come sit down with our lovely team and talk about your day. Please and thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks to all the volunteers and everybody was amazing. The flagging was awesome. Gary, you're a legend.
Oh, look, this is the guy right here, putting first and third to shame. This is how you do it. Keep going, James. Show them how it's done.
Hey, big shout out to Cat Pro, Mike Murphy, Selena, all those guys. Amazing. Yeah, sick. Psyched.
Right on. Congratulations. Way to go. Brendan Hunt, you have one last thing to do. If I'm not mistaken, come on. When you did this for your 23K win, it was the most pathetic bottle pop I've seen in the 10-year history of the race. And now you have wet hands and you're begging me not to make you do it. There, let's do it together.
I'll hold the bottle.
You hold the microphone.
All right.
Okay. I'm celebrating your victory
Okay,
right now,
yes,
right?
please. Thank you. Yeah. Good shake. Nice.
Woo! There you go. There you go. That's yours. All 3 women are on the last 10K stretch right now, and our women's leader, Catherine Short, is off the front and tracking down the men on her way into the finish, running an incredible race right now.
So yeah, the top 2 gentlemen that came through came at 5 and 12 and change each, and then the third place was 5:14 and change. So official results will be ending up at racedaytiming.ca.
Oh, the race day timing stuff seems to be a little bit slow. But
Were you saying it's his fastest? That's you?
So all the races have finished up. We got some hot food on the barbecue for you. There should be some chili over there. Be sure to pop over, grab a bite to eat. Your finish line bags are right there in the big white tent.
and
you can
the race day timing isn't really. Oh yeah, here we go now. We're good. So we can just go off the times from there.
Get yourself a little change.
Yeah, it wasn't refreshing at first, but it's good now.
Is there any way for them to see a race spot? It's not, is there? Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay, never mind. Okay.
All right, we're back on. Awesome. So let's just do. That was super exciting. I guess if you just tuned in, wow, I think that was probably the fastest I've seen a finish with 3 people like that.
Yeah, like the whole podium in 2 minutes.
In 2 minutes, everybody.
So just a heads up, if this is your first time to Squamish, turn around. Those are the mountains that we advertise for everything. They're coming out right now. And for the first time since Friday morning, it's kind of raining, but not really. So this is what it can look like in August most times.
Awesome. So let's just do a quick recap here of that exciting finish. Again, if you do want to, follow along with exact race times and everything, you go to racedaytiming.ca. Just keep hitting refresh, and it'll refresh as runners come through. So we had Brendan Hunt coming in at 5:12, and I want to just see how that kind of compares to some of the top 50K times overall. So that was 5. Brendan Hunt came in at 5:12:03, and I believe that is the third. And I could be wrong here, but from what I'm seeing, this is the third fastest 50K time overall, which is unbelievable when you think about this course. If you were to take all of these top times and have all those runs happen on this same type of day, that might be the fastest. So that's absolutely incredible. I was very familiar with these trails. Incredible to see. And then, so apologies, as sort of throughout the day we've been saying that Etienne Robert was the second place male.
Okay, folks, just so you guys know, there was going to be a 1:30 here right in the
James ended up catching
Etienne area. So for the races that just came in, get yourself warmed up, get some food in you.
I believe that is also
It'll be like the third fastest, I think, because
fourth.
The fourth, everything's getting pushed.
It's very.
it'll be a top 5 fastest time overall, which is
just by 6 seconds.
Which is again incredible because you think of the weather here. So, I mean, what that says is that these guys were really out there, and maybe that's sort of a testament to the fact that they were so close together and really pushing each other throughout the day. And then again, our third place men's finisher Etienne Robert from Gatineau, Quebec, in 5:14:23. It'd be interesting to see how that time compares to some of his previous times here, because I know Etienne, as Gary mentioned when he came through, Etienne has finished first, second. Well, he's now finished first, second, third, and fourth in the 50K. So maybe he'll come back here and get fifth, and there's also.
Oh, it's his fastest time.
Wow.
That's
okay.
incredible.
That is incredible. So it seems like the crazy weather is not affecting our 50K runners today. That is absolutely insane.
I also wonder if, also the course knowledge, but having a really tight lead group is pretty good motivation
to work off.
Like I'm not sure in 2018 when he was first overall if it was close. Or if he was running alone a little more.
Yeah.
But definitely if you're hunting,
yes.
And that knowing that people are close by.
I also think all you 50-mile runners yesterday did them a big favor and sort of smoothed out the course for them, so they were able to basically just put their water skis on and slide down a lot of the big hills. So that's again though another incredible finish, and I am super stoked for our first female to come through.
She should be in soon.
Yeah, I believe she should be in soon. And as far as we know, she's 4th overall, and that's Catherine Short from Half Moon Bay, not Honeymoon Bay. But that's going to be super exciting. And then, as far as we know, the second place woman is Alex Harris, and I believe she about 20 minutes back, about 19 minutes back when last we heard. Hillary gave us that update. We unfortunately don't have any details on who the third woman is at this point, but we'll find out shortly when they come through. I also don't know if we have any updates on how our 50-50 runners are doing, who's still out there. Again, that's a bit more difficult to track just because we have the previous day's results factored into that. So, Hillary, do we by chance know who the third place woman is? I believe it's Alex. Okay, so this is very cool. And this, so if it's Lena Ogedis, which is we're not sure. We're going to get confirmation here, but.
Do you have a fun fact?
799.
799. Yeah. So we're going to.
Lisa Perret.
Okay, Lisa Perret. Okay. I don't have any fun facts on her, but when we do get an update on Lena, I've got some fun facts. Lena. Let's go.
And then James Newby is the first 50-50 runner to Parsonage.
Okay, that's a great update. So we do have an update on the 50-50 runners here. So it looks like the first 50-50 runner is James Newby. I actually don't have his time down here from yesterday, but that's pretty incredible. And these updates that we're getting into runners as they're coming through Farside aid station, which is about 10 kilometers away from here. So again, we're starting to see a lot of the runners come through Farside aid station. So they're getting close to the finish line, I think. And while we wait for our lead female, Catherine Short, we'll throw out a couple more sponsorship plugs here. Galileo Coffee Company, Escape Route, Gibbons Après Lager, Race Roster, Territory Run Co., Norman Rudy's Pub, Broadway Run Club, the Squamish Chief, and yesterday I made the mistake of referencing the actual Squamish Chief Mountain as if that was a sponsor, and then Chris Jones corrected me that there's actually a newspaper also called the Squamish Chief. I think that came after the Squamish Chief, but yeah. Also, so thank you to Canada-wide Communications, MedTech Emergency Medical Services, I'm sure they're busy out there today. Trail maps and the Squamish connector.
I have a question. I don't know if either of you. Where is Galileo coffee now?
Where is Galileo Coffee?
Yeah.
It's in town now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they used to be at that house.
Yeah.
And now they've moved. Okay, so now they're right in.
As you're coming into Squamish, I know it was on the.
Well,
In
when you were
Britannia Beach.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so they're still.
But I believe they're in town now.
They're still roasting, but now they're in town.
Yeah.
Nice, good to know.
Yeah.
Back in the day when I was young, Gary would give out a wooden circle.
That wasn't that
With
bad.
a
That wasn't that
stamp.
long ago. I remember that.
I remember those
And
tokens.
you could get a free coffee. And I think I had like 20 of them or something in
Let's
my
bring
car
them in now.
and would never, and every once in a while I'd go to him and they'd be like, isn't this from 5 years ago?
We had a lady come in and try and cash in all of her coffee tokens today, so I'm just
She
yeah.
wanted 50 coffees.
She wanted 50 coffees. That's awesome. And so yeah, again, huge thank you to all our sponsors. We also have to give a huge shout out to all the volunteers out there on course today. Do we know how many volunteers? I'm imagining over 200 volunteers out there today. Yeah, incredible volunteers coming out here. A lot of volunteers from yesterday are volunteering both days, so yesterday and today. Again, coming out to volunteer, especially in this weather. People were up super early, helping out. Yeah, absolutely. A huge shout out to those.
Things I've learned from watching the volunteers as I went by, most of them seem very well appropriately dressed, and I think the umbrella is key. If you're volunteering like at one of the corners or you don't have like the tent, I think for anyone planning on volunteering during a cold monsoon again, the umbrella will make a huge difference.
Yeah, and also if you're looking for a way to participate in one of these races and you don't necessarily want to run, coming out and volunteering is awesome. It is so much fun. I know a lot of runners, when they're not running, they'll come out and volunteer. It's just it's a great event.
Such a great atmosphere.
Totally great atmosphere, and I always find too, like sometimes coming out and volunteering at the events. When you watch runners come through, you can pick up little things and get little tidbits, and you can actually, learn a lot. So, yeah, that's absolutely great. I should mention, and I don't want to jinx it, but it's like the rain has kind of died down a little.
Yeah. You can see mountain.
That's true. It is opening up a little bit, but it can fool you. There were moments yesterday where I thought, oh, maybe the rain is stopping. Should I take my jacket off? And then 2 minutes later, it's like complete deluge again. But today was supposed to be a better overall for rainfall. So
still 100% chance of rain all day. But
the volume is slightly reduced.
Yeah, the skies are opening up. You can see the mountains. The skies are opening up. Here to welcome our first female runner again. Who Catherine Short. We're expecting, no pun intended, but very shortly. So yeah, that's super exciting. And I'm hoping that in a little bit, maybe after Catherine comes through, we will get an opportunity to interview some of our top 3 male finishers. I know that top priority right now for them is probably getting out of their wet gear. They looked very wet when they came through.
Yeah, and cold.
What is the first thing you would want right now if you had just finished the race? Heat.
A hot bath.
Yeah.
I think they would just be so cold and wet, and yeah, even just thinking about getting changed, and yeah, I think a hot tub or a hot bath would be
What was first? Well, you had to pop the champagne bottles.
Oh, yeah.
Did that, and then changed in that tent over there, and then you're like in your barefoot feet on the grass, and it was so wet that like it was sinking. I was in pure mud trying to get dry, and then Hamish went and got my boots while I was like walking around barefoot, and luckily found reprieve in the Solomon tent there to get my boots on. But then we had to drive back to Vancouver. Then I had a bath and ate soup in the bath.
I think soup would probably be my go-to, and I would imagine they had soup at some of the aid stations too, right?
Yeah, I didn't ask for any, but I'm pretty sure they have miso soup available at Quest, which is when you're cold and you want, it's like a nice
Such a good
thing.
idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not too much in there to choke on. Just let the miso.
Salty goodness.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like on events like this, soup is usually it's such a good option because you're getting a lot of that salt. then it's just warming you up, and it's just absolutely fantastic.
I might use this opportunity, so Nadine, one of the volunteers at the Corners aid station yesterday, my hands weren't like painfully cold, but they were a little bit useless. So, I'm trying to hold these potatoes that they've given me and get my bottles out, and she was being so helpful, she's trying to help me get everything into my pack, and you're kind of like very clumsy, and it's just so appreciated, all the time and effort those volunteers put into this, because as Gary says, like, this cannot happen without all those people.
No, and it's incredible. I know every year, like, I think they actually have to turn down volunteers. They get so many people requesting to be out here, and it's absolutely it's fantastic to see. So I know that if I'm not, every year when I'm not running, I always want to come up here and just be a part of it. It always feels like Squamish, again, it's usually in August when it happens, but October, and it's in the rain. You get to see a lot of familiar faces that we haven't seen for so long because we haven't had races, and it's absolutely incredible. So
this is Squamish 50. This is our second day. Yesterday we rocked out 50
moment here we'll be getting
there,
notice. Hopefully that
very wet conditions.
First female runner, Catherine
Today
Short, will
it's
be
just
coming
one
through.
word, very wet. I'm not going to put the second one in yet. We've
so we're really
here at the finish.
Really looking forward to that, and as we mentioned,
So we've got our
hopefully
top three
we'll get
gentlemen come across the finish line, and
opportunity
they are
to
currently getting
speak with
themselves
some of
warmed
our
up.
men's finishers later today
Food for them at the barbecue, some chili, and
our viewers can't see this, but as I'm sort of looking
energized
over to the distance there,
we
it's
will be
really
getting
cool to
awards
see a lot of our top 50,
stick around for
our top 50-mile
We are still waiting for
finishers
our
from
top three females,
yesterday,
but,
sort of hanging out by the
they should
finish
be
line.
coming
I always think that's
shortly.
cool to see. There's a couple of the runners, Nick Helston and Mike Siddick, who unfortunately had to drop out of the 50-50 today, but what's so cool about guys like that is, they'll come back to the finish line and they're going to cheer on runners as they come through, and that's just a testament to who they are as people in this awesome sport. They're not just going to take off; they're going to come here and cheer runners on. And there's also, I believe that's Sean Stevens Whale. He had a bit of a rough day yesterday. Was leading the race for quite a while, but then had to pull out. We spoke with him a bit yesterday. It's cool to see his face at the finish line again. And I think we can expect more people to sort of come out as this. If the rain,
this is actually far more pleasant than yesterday to just kind of mill around. People can.
We don't want to jinx
I know,
it, but
it's just gonna start downpouring again.
Yeah. Is it raining at all? It is still raining a little. Hillary, is it?
Not even that. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that would. Yeah, we can see the mountains again. Our viewers can't see them, but like where we're looking, it's just an awesome shot of the mountain range.
And you can see the waterfall.
The huge waterfall,
very full. There's no shortage of water coming down from.
So if you are just joining us now, let's just do a quick recap of the three finishers we have had so far in the 50K. They all came in together. All three of them. There was just within 2 minutes or less. A bit of a bigger gap now, but so we had Brendan Hunt, again Squamish local, come in first place in 5:12:03, and phenomenal finish. And it was cool to see his wife Tara Holland congratulate him because she had won the 50K. Women's race the year before, so that's maybe like a passing of the torch. Or,
not to interrupt your recap, but she had started yesterday actually, and I was definitely expecting her to be right in the top, and then she said she just unfortunately one of her hip flexors really acted up, but she's a phenomenal runner too. So consistent, it's. I don't know, one of those people that you think the elements are not going to be an issue. She's going to get through this and stuff. And I think had it not been for that unfortunate injury, she would have definitely been right up there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got the impression just talking to some people that run with her quite a bit that she was in great shape coming into the race, and this was going to be a great race for her. But unfortunately things are going to happen. That's too bad. But I'd be willing to bet we'll see her again
We'll
next
see
year.
her again for sure.
As well as Brendan. I mean, they're both from Squamish, so yeah, absolutely. And then so there was a little change up at the end there. We were expecting to see Etienne Robert finish second, and then this happens a lot of times. You look over to the finish line, and all of a sudden it's somebody that you didn't expect. And so it was James Tilley who came in second place, about 40 seconds back from Brendan Hunt. So at 5:12:40. Both of those are incredible times because, you know, given the conditions of the course and the weather.
The only one is Adam Campbell, 4:55. I think it's the only time under 5 hours, right? Yeah, excellent runs.
Yeah, and I think Gary, when speaking to Nick and Nick Elson yesterday, he had asked like what's the difference between running in something like this and compared to like a drier year and maybe like an extra 10-15 minutes you'd add on, and that seems to be pretty consistent here. So again, absolutely incredible time. And then Etienne Robert from Gatineau, Quebec, in 5:14:23, another incredible time. We mentioned this earlier, but what's really cool about Etienne's time is he's done this race several times in the past. So he ran it in 2017, 2018, 2019. He has first, second, and fourth place finishes. This was his fastest time, and again on a year where conditions weren't optimal, and he was still able to pull it together. And he can now say that he's finished first, second, third, and fourth, which is pretty cool. So,
and that might pay to like fixing the course and where you're going to get your nutrition and things like that.
Yeah, and I mean, you would be a perfect example of that with the 23
well,
kilometers.
The 23K is easy because you're like, I might take one gel and grab, I don't have to pack too much.
I would take like 10 gels on that course. You might take one gel, but
yeah, for the longer races it pays. I don't know. Do you guys like to know a course, or when you're racing it, or do you find the element of surprise kind of helps with the race day excitement?
I definitely prefer to know the course.
Okay.
And because it's something, I like to plan and be able to control that, and I like to know what to expect. What about you?
Especially if it's technical or there's a lot of climbs, I like to know. I don't know that I race better when I know, but I like to know.
Yeah, same.
And I hadn't done the Galactic climb. Actually, the last time I ran up Galactic specifically was years ago with Gary. And so yesterday it did feel a bit like, I actually don't know where this ends. Like, I know we're climbing far, but I don't know where we're actually going to turn around and start heading down. And it came sooner than I expected.
That's nice.
And it was definitely nice. But sometimes you wonder, are you able to push a little harder if you know you're almost at the top? Versus if it's unknown, you can maybe be a bit more cautious. Like you don't want to completely blow up. And I think the knowledge of the course helps you race your best.
Yeah, especially on a climb like that, because it's runnable, it could be hikeable, and it just kind of goes on forever. And so knowing, you're like, okay, I know that there's one more around this turn, and then there's that. Whereas if you're not familiar with
pain, but if you know where you're going, you actually are not constantly searching for the flags because you just know. And I think that takes a little bit of less mental work than someone who's come from out of town. They're going to have excellent flaggers to follow, but they will, unless they have a runner in front of them that they're just able to follow, if they're doing all the kind of sighting the flags themselves, 8 to 10 hours of searching for the next pink flag can sometimes wear on you mentally. So.
Yeah, and these courses, and every Gary course is just very well known for being exceptionally flagged. And Chris Jones made a funny comment yesterday. He said it is one of the hardest courses when you're volunteering to take down the flags after the race because you are picking up way more flags than you ever could have imagined. So
I'm sure. I thought of that yesterday as I was running. I'm like, oh my gosh, who is doing the sweep? They are going to be so wet. Because every bush or tree they're going to be pulling that pink flag off of, I'm sure the leaves are going to dump water all over them. So.
Oh, I think we have someone coming in.
Yes, who is this? We have...
Here we go, coming in, first place for the ladies, 4th overall, Catherine Short. All smiles here at the finish line of Squamish 50.
All right, 4th overall, tracking people down all day long. Women's champion in the 50K in a time of 5 hours, 41 and a half minutes. Catherine Short, everybody! Catherine, we got the inside scoop that you were going to be the favorite this weekend. Yeah, some people in the know. Apparently you've been crushing women's FKT records the last couple of months, if not years. But you come from a competitive background, is that right? Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that, please.
I started mountain biking when I was like 9.
Oh, you're actually not allowed mountain bikes on this course. I'm sorry about that, so we're going to have to... Oh, sorry, keep going.
All legs today. Yeah, so I started super young racing mountain bikes, and started trail racing 2019, just in time for the pandemic. So been focused on FKTs. And
tell us about a couple of the FKTs you were able to claim. I heard you got Brunswick Mountain, the highest mountain. Are you cramping? A little, yeah? How about we make it 60 seconds, we'll get you to pop the bottle, then we'll let you warm up and come back and see us.
Okay.
But real quick, so you got Brunswick Mountain. Name a couple of the other ones, please, and thanks.
I did Ferry to Ferry, which was on the Sunshine Coast, like from Langdale to Earls Cove. Mount Daniel, also on the Sunshine Coast.
And you're based in Gibsons, is that right?
Half Moon Bay.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
Yep.
similar.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So congratulations, welcome to the Squamish 50K. Will we be seeing more of you on the racing scene over here on the mainland in the years to come?
I think so. Next weekend, Diaz Vista. So
you're out for Diaz Vista next weekend?
Yeah.
Oh my God, back-to-back 50Ks. We'll have a bottle ready for you early. This is your bottle of champagne. I want you to pop it in that direction and celebrate your victory. Round of applause. Catherine Short, phenomenal run out here today. Shake and twist. Oh, you got gloves. It's not fair. All right. Woo! There we go. It's not your first celebratory bottle of champagne. Nicely done. Get warmed up. Congratulations. And then the live feed's right here. We'd love to have a few more words when you're warm and toasty. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm going to want to go at some point. So,
So there we go. Catherine Short coming in first female for Squamish 50 kilometer. So we'll wait to see who comes in second and third.
Wow, so that's awesome. So 5:40, and I don't know exactly how many seconds yet. 5:41.24. So
yes, we just had Catherine Short come through in 5:41.24. We're gonna see how that
looks like she's gonna be the 4th fastest time,
right
just
behind
Anna Frost.
And that's I think that's I'd be okay being just
yeah,
behind
totally.
Anna Frost in any race.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
yeah, I really hope we get the chance to speak with her. Oh, and it sounds like we've got
another runner coming down the line.
Maybe we can watch this runner come in, and then we've got some honking, some excited cheers out there.
Here we go, coming on in. Vincent Roseberry from Whistler. So Vincent's 5th overall, 4th in the men.
Can we stay on that just for a couple minutes while I quickly sneak to the washroom? We'll just stay on that. Okay. I need to go so bad. I'll be back. Dug into the stereo. Yesterday it was just like a place down here. This is so much better.
The live stream, I heard. You get it? Live stream.
Oh yeah, that was Jenny.
Yeah, that was so good. Sorry.
Sat down and let me hear it can't escape when you come back. Or it comes back. Well, actually, you guys can just go in and are you guys cool just interviewing? Yeah. Okay.
commons license?
Okay, we've got, here we go.
Oh. Are we on?
Can you get under there? Oh, what am I talking about? It's basically
I don't
at
even
eye
have
level.
to duck.
Welcome.
Hello.
Do you want, are you okay with the middle seat? Let's make sure we don't trip you up.
How are you feeling after yesterday?
I'm not too bad.
Yeah?
Yeah, feeling
Congrats
a lot better
on it.
now. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, awesome.
Well, congratulations. Anything?
I'll wear it. Did you
Yeah.
not have 2 sweaters and a jacket
Like,
on?
you can't layer too much, honestly. It took me about 6 hours to warm up that.
Oh,
that
yeah.
down, so it's a little tough to warm up when you've got that wet layer against your body.
Yeah. There we go.
Excellent. Okay.
two sweaters. I had 2 shirts, 2 sweaters, 2 jackets.
We don't even need
so
to
cold.
take your core temperature. Your lips are telling us that you're still too cool. So how did it feel temperature-wise when you were moving? Were you okay?
Not so good. Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's fine for the first bit, and then as soon as you start going up Galactic, there's just so many rivers there, and the water was freezing. So and some of it was like so deep, so you just get splashed, and even like yeah, just like your back and all your legs were just drenched.
Yeah.
It's just ice water. So yeah, so I was definitely cold up there and a
On
little.
the climb, hey? Like
Yeah.
you usually think you're gonna be warm on the climb because
I
you're
know.
working hard, but even that, yeah.
Yeah, and it kept happening. So when I got to the top of Galactic, I was like a little concerned about it and being like, oh, I just need to like descend really quick and hopefully it'll warm up again. And then it happened again when I was climbing Legacy and I got toward the top. I got really cold at the top, and then even top of Bonsai and all the way coming down somewhere over there, I was like freezing.
Wow, yeah.
So
You were cold the whole time.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Start to finish, pretty much. Yeah. Except for the first 3K.
Yeah. And do you just like when you think of your ideal race conditions? Do you like warm weather? Or do you like what do you?
Oh, I
like?
thought you were gonna be like, was this an ideal condition? I was like, nope. The opposite of this. It would be ideal. I don't know. I like the temperature's good. It's just with all the rivers and
Yeah, it's the
puddles.
moisture that was the
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, that
No,
really did
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So we are hanging out here at Junction Park.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind the
Squamish.
heat
One, give a huge shout
so
out to
much.
Squamish for letting us play in the playgrounds.
But yeah,
of
today was
Squamish
just
and the surrounding area.
really miserable. I'm sure. Well, yeah, you
Squamish
probably got the
50
brunt of
is
it
normally
yesterday.
in August, and
Yeah.
it will be back in
I had
August
my
next
jacket
year,
was
so we
amazing.
can all work
I
on our
felt
runners'
warm in my
cans.
core and my arms.
for now we're
actually
enjoying
not
a
bad,
great
but my
fall
legs were
run.
freezing
Oh,
and
yeah.
not working. Like they just
Right now I'm
felt
gonna jinx
seized
it
up
and say
and
that right now
stiff
the
and
rain is
cold. It's
Yeah.
just hard to ever feel good. Like there was no moment where I was like, oh, I'm having fun and racing. This is wonderful.
Yeah,
The whole
yeah.
thing was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did it play out?
So right off the start, Etienne and me just kind of took it out, and we were running real comfortable together. Yeah, and then I took the lead a little higher up on Alice Lake Road, and then he was just with me for a little bit of Four Lakes Trail.
Of course,
and
all the
then
racers
gap just
come in. We
opened
should
up
have
a
popped
bit.
over the barbecue, get some hot food,
So
there's
I
some
thought,
chili
like,
over
oh, he's
there.
probably gone.
Grab me a
And
smoky with
Gary told
mustard,
me
you
going
know,
into
whatever you
Galactic
want to do.
had 3 minutes on him since the aid station at Corners.
So you had a bit of info, like people were telling you kind of what was going
I
on.
think that was the only time I had info, yeah. And then, so I was thinking like, oh, I'm probably all okay, and I was taking advice from Brendan Gerlocker, who won the last Swan 50K, and my wife, Tara Holland, who won the women's Swan 50K. And they're just saying like, don't push the start, and just like, the race really begins either at Quest, or you can even consider the race begins at like, you know, after Angry Midget. So I just cruised up Galactic really gently, and I did a lot of hiking.
Here we go, a couple runners coming in.
Probably why I went freezing.
From Victoria, Theo.
And then when I got to Upper Power Smart, it was like just chaos.
And right behind
So I
him,
just tiptoeing my way down, and it's just water everywhere.
Coming in at good on, and
Yeah, sure.
this must have been a good sprint into the finish line. This is the best running short so far, I have to admit.
Excellent. I know Theo, and he's been running for years.
Oh.
Through UBC.
And
We have a runner down in the mud.
game set.
Just
match.
lots of you. With very short shorts.
We're very grateful for a liner right now. If it weren't for the liner, we would be getting a full view.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah, can we like blur that out in the footage?
It's nuts. There's a lot going on here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a tough course.
Yeah.
In these conditions.
Yeah, and I thought I might be running alone, and I was thinking like on Galactic, there's a chance that 3 minutes will close because I just want to take it carefully, and then I tiptoed down Upper Power Smart, and then I saw a headlamp on Imba Smart.
It was still dark.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I used that
right.
headlamp until like halfway down word of mouth, and then
So that's coming into Quest there.
yeah. It was just because like you got some daylight when I reached the top of Quest or top of Galactic because you kind of opened up at the very top. But as soon as you left that part seconds behind me on Imba Smart, so I was like, okay, so I got to get back into race mode and not just tiptoe my way down the water. And then so I got away a little bit. I don't know how much though. And then when we got to Quest, he was right there with me, and I didn't expect that. And then so he's right behind me going up Legacy, and then where's the next time I saw him? He caught me on the descent on somewhere over there, and I had no idea if he was, a few seconds back or like 10 minutes back. I had no idea. He caught me on the descents. He was going so much faster on the descents than me.
And is that because he was taking like more risks with the conditions, or is he usually just a faster descender? Or I guess you guys have.
I'm not sure. Like, ooh. And then I passed him just
here we
few
go,
seconds
coming
later.
in.
And so I got a little ahead of him on the far side, but he's right there by the aid station.
Darcy coming across the line.
And then he stopped at the aid station there, so I was like, I opened in the legs. And then as soon as I'm coming out of the bluffs into the road, I hear these footsteps catching really quick, and I was like, here comes Etienne, and I look and it's like,
it's James.
Wow, yeah, not what you were expecting.
Yeah, and then Tara was there just screaming at me, cheering me on, saying, you just got to go now, 2K to go. So I just booted it, from that point, and just barely got it through. So
These conditions, what do you think you learned in terms of how to prepare for it, take with you out there? Like, would you change your gear strategy at all if you were to kind of run the same race in the same conditions again?
I don't know. I was really good with nutrition. My first ultra on WAM 55K was the opposite experience, where that was the learning curve of nutrition, of what not to do. But I just knew with all the climbing, just gotta start pumping them in. I was getting them in every half an hour, and then try to get them in every 20 minutes. Then I had some routine water with some noon water. Is the problem. So I mean, it's looking. Maybe I'll just run.
Like they don't keep you warm anymore.
Oh yeah.
No air pocket.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was really smooth for the first 10K. I knew not to take it out too hard, and all the advice was just, take it easy. Felt really coming down Upper Power Smart and all these trails that were just covered completely with puddles and rivers of them. Yesterday on the live feed, and they're just saying like with the headlamp on and so much pouring rain, like you can't see very. So I was just kind of, I don't know, I just found it really taxing. I kind of felt like I was
another runner coming in from Vancouver.
I know that. Yeah,
It's not ours.
congratulations.
Yeah, congrats on your race.
Looks like.
Let's refresh the results here.
Here, I'll give you your jacket.
Oh yeah, we'll hang it on the chair for the next
Victoria.
person. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Had the all aboard breakfast.
And congrats on yesterday.
Good, Boise. And look how sexy he looks in that hat.
How was that?
Yes, we've had a few now come through. We saw these two. We missed, unfortunately. We were interviewing.
Oh, yeah, that's
They
okay.
didn't cut to the live feed.
I think Etienne's gonna come
But then
in. I'll
every.
pop out.
We're gonna get. Are we doing Etienne?
Etienne's in.
Okay.
I'll pop out.
Okay, sure, sounds good.
I think though, it does seem like people at home and go.
Yeah, I would say just stick with the ABV probably, right? People are always gonna want things. Yeah, we can take. Yeah.
We have all the results in the cloud because there's so much cloud right now. We can store.
Well, I've never done an interview before, so.
Okay, all right.
There it goes.
First of all, congrats on a awesome race today
Thanks.
from Gatineau, Quebec. But this is your the fifth time running.
Yeah, the fifth time. I like to forget about the first one.
Okay, the first one, if I'm correct, it was the 50-mile distance.
Wow, you guys did your research, eh?
I did a little bit of research.
Wow.
And,
Well, yeah, it was a 50 mile.
And then you started switching.
Because I have an IT band and whatever.
Yeah.
I have learned a lot about running through every year coming to the same race. It's kind of one of the advantages, I guess. If you do the same race every year, then you get to change your training and see how it affects the race. And I feel like today I need to change my training again.
Well, one thing that we found, which is so cool. So this is your fourth running of the 50K event, and I would imagine this is the worst weather you've experienced.
Yeah.
But this is I don't know if you know this, but this is your fastest time in the 50K.
I know, right? We started off really fast,
See a volunteer.
and I wanted to see how close to the course record I could get, and it was just not in what's the saying? It's like
The weather, I would say.
Yeah, the weather is
not in the weather.
Yeah, exactly. No, we were running through like really deep stuff. I guess everybody will have told you that over the last few days, but yeah,
go,
I
two
felt like it
runners.
was a very good experience. Anyway, it's fun since it's always the same race, to have like different conditions and everything. So
Being chased in by Dean
You live
Perez.
in Gatineau, Quebec.
That's all the
I
open
don't
show
actually.
left.
It's just it's on there since the first race, and I never thought to change it, which is always funny because when I cross the finish line, they always go like, "I'm Gatineau, Quebec," which is cool.
We've been telling people all day you were
all
this
day.
Quebec crusher who's coming up.
Live in Nelson.
Okay, you live in Nelson.
Nelson, yeah.
So
Awesome.
you drove down for the race?
Yeah, kind of. I guess my wife is from Mexico, and so we're gonna go spend the winter in Mexico,
There we go.
which is what I was thinking about the whole race. I was like,
I
it's cold
thought that
now,
too.
it's cold now, but it's gonna get warm soon.
So, I mean, this is your fifth running of the race. What keeps bringing you back?
Well, I think it's the best race there is.
Alexandra Harris.
Yeah, this is the base race.
We should cut to this, so
Sure,
we're going
no,
to take
go
a
for it.
brief pause. Fantastic. This is our second place female.
Yeah, super
Alexandra
great.
Harris. She's
Alexandra Harris.
very happy.
Am I
Big
good?
hugs.
Do you want?
Congratulations, Alex. Nice run out there today. Second place, women's second place in 6:03. Our timing clock took 200 millimeters of rain, and it's gone. It's dead. So it's just over 6 hours. Congratulations. So I got a little bit of backstory here. Yeah. So you can correct me if I'm wrong. This is your first ultra in 3 years. Is that right?
Yeah. Super
3 years ago, she ran and won the Grizzly 50K Ultra in Canmore, but has had some injury issues since. So can we welcome her back to Ultra and to the podium again? Tell us a little bit about your day and your journey getting back to the 50K distance again.
Yeah, the injury sucked, but I'm just like very grateful to be here today, and my family's watching on FaceTime.
Oh, nice. We have the live feed right there too.
Oh, that's awesome. But yeah, no, just super grateful to be back. Able to use both left and right feet today.
That helps.
Galactic was a straight up river. But yeah, just super grateful to be back.
Woo! Congratulations on your run. Well done.
There we go. We've had our top two ladies come across the line. We are waiting for third place and our first 50-50.
All right. So I
All
think
right, she corroborated what everyone's been saying.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, tell us about Galactic and tell us about Galactic Shies. So that's in the race. That is about, I think that's about 10 kilometers in, right?
I couldn't tell you.
For these guys, yeah, probably be about that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Or maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, everything up to that point was like puddles. But as soon as we got there, those are like really old-fashioned trails. And yeah, it is actually just a river. And for me, the main problem of the main difficulty of the race was the fact that it erodes all the soil out.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's all rocks
just
underneath.
rocks.
Yeah.
And they've all just moved, so they're not like settled.
Yeah, exactly.
So they all are just, they've been like moving downstream for the last hour, and it's all, the footing's really kind of frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely.
And tiring.
The moment I find the race really interesting because you get a little bit of everything at the start. Uphills, downhills, and everything, and so you kind of see what people's strengths are.
Right.
And I saw that on the downhills he was really careful.
Right.
And that's usually where I take my advantage in the race.
Yeah.
So the whole race I was thinking, so if I can get close enough to him before the last downhill, I might do something. But he was way strong, really good.
He mentioned you were a very good downhiller and that you made some gains on him on the downhill. Yeah.
Good or reckless. I don't know. I have very strong ankles. I've never rolled an ankle in my life, and so I was just like bulldozing through the downhill, which was not always great, but was following the flags for a bit, and then the trail was such a river that I was actually following the river.
Yeah.
But when I stepped into it, I went all the way like up to my hips. I was like, oh, I don't think this is right. And so I turned around, and then I was just completely frozen. Yeah, it was a very interesting experience.
Totally.
And today I was listening to a book about ships and sailing and stuff, and water coming overboard.
That's amazing.
And I was just like, I was there with them, you know? I was like, their life is probably worse than mine right now, so it made me feel good. And every time it got tough, I would just...
an audiobook while racing.
Yeah, well, it's the best way to not have negative thoughts. Don't do anything but impact negatively in your race, you know? So better not have them.
So, do you come back again to do it in August or October?
Wow, that's a tough choice.
Is it a tough choice? I feel like that.
Oh, it's a tough choice for sure.
Wow.
I find it really difficult in the heat.
Okay.
As soon as we get to somewhere over there, you get to that motorbike trail or whatever, and it's really exposed, and you can smell the cooked earth there in the summer, and that's where I start cramping up usually.
Yeah.
And no cramps today, but I didn't have the legs I wanted to have.
So one vote for October. That's the only vote for October. So everybody else has said August.
Yeah,
I still think October. If you're a gambling person, you could potentially have the dream conditions.
Yeah, I think so too.
Or you could have this.
Yeah.
Are we in the talks of changing it to October here?
No, we're just taking a petition.
Yeah, okay.
I think Gary is.
We're going to present Gary with our votes. And
with my one October vote.
Yeah, Etienne is totally down for October if it ever happens.
Let's do it. I'm down.
Before we let you go and kind of warm up here, do you have anything, any other races coming up in the calendar?
I don't really. Squamish 50 is pretty much the race for me. It's I don't know, it has everything I want, and I find it very difficult to plan ahead for races. And I find you get into that like rhythm where you register, and then an injury comes up, and then you're compensating instead of doing the right thing. And so I got into that slump for a bit, and I decided to just make this the steady race, and every other race it's stuff that I'm able to register like maybe a few weeks before because I feel good or something.
So we'll pencil you in for 2022.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think the Squamish 50K. I want to be on record saying this. Maybe we can make a petition too.
Okay. Well, I mean, we are live, so yeah.
Yeah.
Tell the world, but
the 50K is the race of the Squamish 50.
Okay.
My honest, sincere opinion.
Okay.
I think everything that's good about the 50 mile is the 50K.
In the 50K.
Okay. Well, Anne-Marie hasn't done the 50K yet. She's done the 23K. She did the 50 mile
that's
yesterday.
a big leap.
So this is now here you have it. You're missing out.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind for next year's race.
I was in a sleeping bag in bed yesterday watching you finish. And I was like, oh, I'm so happy I'm in bed. Oh, man, it looks so miserable yesterday. We actually got a little bit of good weather today.
Yeah, this is really nice that people can hang out right now.
Yeah.
So do you still tree plant?
Yeah.
So so are you doing April till, like, when did you just finish this season then?
Actually, less than a month ago, 2 weeks ago, or something like that. The thing is, I never have the time to train.
Yeah.
And this year I had a lot more time to train, but I was training while working.
Yeah.
And it was very, very tiring. And I thought, like, because of that, I can do wonders this year. And it turns out, like, most of the years I get 10 days to train, and I do better. Well, it's my PB today. I
No,
shouldn't
but
say
this
that.
is your fastest.
Yeah.
I think you probably
But-
had a great race.
Yeah.
You probably really did because
Yeah.
you ran your fastest time in a challenging course.
Yeah, imagine it was. Imagine it was. Yeah, this is. And because of the ships podcast and the, yeah.
I'm
See,
sorry
I-
to jump
so
in,
I
but
used to pre-plan, and I always thought, like, would you be the fittest for a 100-miler one? Because you're used to moving super fast with the heavy bags, and you're like eating sandwiches while like bending over all day and trying not to vomit it back up and stuff. But
So much in common.
Yeah, but then you drop down to your favorites to go from planting to a 50K.
Just because of the amount of training that I
Okay,
have.
gotcha.
But it's
Together.
true. I've done some 100K, like 120. It's slowly and steady. And no, it works really well.
Yeah,
It works really
nice.
well. That's
Great.
the way you used to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I thought about it a lot yesterday. I felt like I was coastal planting in one of those freezing Nanaimo.
Yes.
Let me give a shout out to some of our amazing,
Maybe that's
amazing
because
sponsors
that's
that help
why
this
I'm
event
saying
to be a
October is the
success.
best because I'm
Of
so
course,
used
Ness
to
is
this
market
stuff.
here
But yeah.
in Squamish.
Well,
Huge
thank you
supporter
so much
of the
for
Squamish
your time.
50.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you guys.
On your
I,
PB
investors,
effort.
buy some
I'm excited to see you back next year for the
Alright.
For Solomon and
50K.
Sunto, they
Yeah,
have
because
the
that's
Solomon
where it's at.
Sunto,
Oh, yeah, that's where it's at.
demo
In
race.
October.
In October, maybe.
Yeah, in October too.
Check out some
Okay,
shoes.
awesome. Thank you so much. Congratulations,
Thank
Etienne.
you. Thanks.
Hammer Nutrition.
Thank you.
Headlamps, Drymax, socks.
Okay, we'll
trail
do the
butter.
triple swap.
There's a good friend Gibbons has mentioned with the beer garden. Skate route, Norman, Rudy.
Next.
If you see him, yeah, please.
Trail map, Galileo Coffee, Fat
Yeah,
Bath.
once Cat comes
Got
over
in a
here.
wide communications, executive suite, resources, Squamish, Miller, Capilano. So yeah, support all these great sponsors we have because they're supporting us.
All right, just me.
Nick, did I hear Etienne properly there? He said that he trained for the Squamish 50K in 10 days. I think that's what he said. I mean, he tree plants for a living, so he said.
Interviewing Etienne, he's pretty incredible story. I get the impression that he actually loved being out there in this kind of weather. I asked him if given the choice, if he'd rather race again in weather like this in October or August, and he was all about this.
Yeah.
And he was saying that so throughout the race today, he was actually living. The other thing I should say is, and thankfully he corrected about this. So originally Etienne is from Gatineau, Quebec, but he now lives in Nelson, BC, and so he comes out here every year. This is his favorite race. He says the 50K is where it's at. So originally he ran the 50 mile. Didn't like that. So, but yeah, he's one of
I
those.
could see that. And this was his fastest time out of the 4 times he's ran, right?
I think he had a great time out there.
This is his style, his conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm hoping we can get our second place male at some point for an interview. That's James Tilley.
Yeah.
And then we'll also look to interview Catherine Short. I did quickly talk with Catherine back there, and I can't believe she is Vista. It's just happening. Let's maybe do a female that came through 4th overall.
Warming up, I think.
Yeah, and that's the big thing.
That's
is
key.
They do. Speaking to Etienne, he was all shades of blue, but he was still, talking to us, and a lot of energy from that guy. Really cool to see. And that's 6:03:32, and then.
And actually, she came in, and when Gary told her she was second, she had no idea.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was just like, "Oh,
that
cool."
does sometimes happen when you're out there, and I think it happened yesterday in the 50-mile race where Mariev, I think she went off course for a bit and then wasn't sure where she was at, came back, but so we're still waiting on the updates here on course. I don't have anything yet, but not too long ago, so he was in at 5:12:03, followed by James Tilley. We're hoping we can speak with James shortly. Then we had Etienne, who we just spoke with. Catherine Short, Vincent Roseberry, Theo Jankowski?
Yeah.
Antoine Bellon Saint. I apologize. I'm going to butcher so many of these names today. Tyler Darcy, Michael Nango, Chad Boise, Clayton Dendy, and then Dean Perez. Dean Perez is a name that I recognize. It's interesting to see him showing up for the 50K today. I follow him on Strava, and he has not had a taper week at all this week. He's been, I think it was on, I feel like it was on Monday or Tuesday or something, and I saw him do like 30K on the Coquitlam Crunch or something like that, and I was like, is he racing this weekend?
Turns out he was.
That's how Dean does
Just
things.
keeping those legs warm, you know?
Absolutely. I've been lucky enough to run with Dean before on kind of a group run, and he just floats up the mountain. It's incredible to see. Dean Perez we're talking about. Yeah, exactly. So he came over. He was in at 12th overall, and we were just saying how this week I follow him on Strava, and it's definitely not been a taper week for him. So, but that's the way he does things.
Taper schmaper.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we mentioned, the rain is, the weather has been kind of more than favorable today.
I did see some blue sky.
Spoiler alert, it is still raining, it's still cold, still wet. Yeah.
I don't see him. I talked to Mike Siddick quickly too, and he said he was just, it was a really tough day out there because he was a 50-50er and he dropped at Quest.
Okay,
and he was saying that he was just feeling like it was going to be some form of injury if he continued going on, so it wasn't worth it. But maybe we can get him in here, him and Nick, to hear about their...
Yeah, actually, that would be great if we could get Nick and Mike. I actually also spoke to Tara Berry a little while ago. Again, it's so cool seeing everybody show up again to the finish line. I love it. Everybody wants to be here and cheer on more runners. Tara had a phenomenal race yesterday, and I think it's sort of a similar thing she's describing. You know, it was just such a tough day yesterday with the weather that you're using muscles that you're not really used to, going down some of the downhills, trying not to slip, and really, I think a lot of the reason why she didn't start today is, again, that sort of, you don't want to really injure yourself long term.
I think it was also really mentally exhausting for people because Brendan spoke to it a little bit. He had his headlamp until word of mouth, so that's quite far in. And so going up Galactic and trying to see with just your headlight, there's rain pouring down, trying to see your footing, like that's very mentally exhausting. So yeah, and because we're in the fall, it doesn't get light till way later. So, and in the forest, so I think they were dealing with a lot of just trying to focus on the trail, which is just exhausing, and your body's trying to keep warm.
Yeah, and I always find when you're wearing a headlamp, it's just not as effective when it's in the rain, right?
No.
It's so yeah, there would be it wouldn't be easy to be out there, and especially with it being in October, you're wearing the headlamp for a little bit longer than normal. Yeah, it can be super frustrating. So I believe we just got word we should be expecting our third place female coming in shortly. I don't think we know who that is yet. Check and see if we got any updates, but a lot of these runners will find out as they come through who they are, so that's totally fine. And we're still waiting on our first 50-50 runner as well. I believe, do we know who the first 50-50 runner is? James Newby. I think that's what we heard. Now, I don't know what James, look at, I don't have James' time from yesterday or where he stands overall. I can pull this up here. Oh, James Newby. You know what? Actually, James Newby, I think I missed him 50-50 runner from today. I'm not sure how that factors in overall. But
he was 8th yesterday in 9:08.
Yeah, 9:08, 8th in the 50 mile. So, and how that plays out, that looks like actually James could be first over.
Yeah,
he could be first overall then in the 50-50.
Earlier on at 6:15 this morning. Been a few people.
His finishing time yesterday was 9:08.
9:08, and then
a little too much rain. We have a great field of people. We'll be doing the awards at 1:30, which is in 50 minutes.
Now, James would have actually. Oh no! So James would have actually been the third place male yesterday in the 50-50, but due to Mike Siddick and Nick Elson both dropping out, he would now be ahead.
First place.
And that's something we talked about yesterday. And it's when you're running the 50-50, especially in these conditions, just showing up to the start line, you can move up places overnight. As people, either don't show up to the start line, or they decide Elson didn't start today, so then just James showing up this morning, he would have moved up an extra spot into second, and with Mike pulling out, so now all of a sudden he's in first overall, and that's super exciting.
Ooh, I think I see a runner.
I think we have another runner coming in, so we'll go to the lot.
Coming on in full. Sprint to the finish.
Her first ever ultra right here today, making the women's podium.
And she was being chased in by David Gordon from North Vancouver.
Congratulations to find yourself on a podium out here today? No, not at all. 25K 3 weeks ago. And now at Squamish 50 kilometer on the podium. What's this going to do for your future goals going into next year?
I guess 50-50.
Jillian needed some help. How did your day go out there in the rain and with it being such a weather challenged event?
There was a lot of water, that's for sure. I had a sweet team though who were there for me at Quest and at Farside. Thanks guys, it was awesome.
Good stuff. Round of applause. Third place in her first ever 50K. Amazing run out there today.
And for the record, she did announce the 50-50 on the live stream, so it is in the internet.
Oh, that's awesome. So that was our third place female just coming in, and I'm hoping we'll get the chance to speak with her.
Yeah, so right behind Lisa was David Gordon. He rocked out 50 kilometers today in the Squamish 50. Great job. You
were fast.
That is a very
straight up struggle city.
Have a seat.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hey, I'm Alex.
I'm Kat.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Congratulations.
Thanks.
We're seeing lots of blue lips, and yours match very beautifully with your pink jacket today. Yes.
Right. I honestly feel like kind of warm.
Good. You're not shivering. You have a tag sticking out there.
I know. I still haven't taken it off. Do you take it off?
Congratulations on your race. When you came in, I was standing over there, and it looked like you didn't know you were in second.
I honestly had zero idea.
Here we go, runner coming in.
I went past my crew,
Vancouver,
and they didn't tell me really like what place I was in, and I was like, oh my god, am I doing that bad right now? And so, like I had like a race plan, and so I was like, okay, like I think I'm like hitting times, like given the conditions, and they just like were kind of like they were being so awesome at the crew stop, and no one mentioned a place, so I was like, okay, I'm just really far behind. So yeah, no idea.
That's a fun surprise.
Yeah, it was amazing, honestly.
So, on course, I guess there was no leapfrogging. Like, did you see any other women on course, or was it kind of must have been in your place?
Yeah, that's why I feel like I felt like I was super far back. I'm like, there's so many strong girls.
Nice surprise.
It was like a really my family was on FaceTime.
Oh.
Yeah, and
you were totally allowed to cry.
Yeah. It was just like such a feel good. Totally.
Especially after a big race like that.
Yeah.
Popping down the line.
Like,
there we go, coming in.
A while to get back. Like I ended up having surgery.
Victoria, Chris.
And, like last March I was running like 30 seconds times 3.
Some good color
so like
blocking
to
there
go
with the
from
green,
that
that's really good.
and be able
Very
to run
fashionable.
50K, like I remember like I was in the car this morning and I was just like playing Tsunami because I was like, Carl, like this is so fitting, like let's just like vibe out right now. And like I was just like, I'm like, okay, like you know whatever happens today, I was like, I just like am so grateful for these legs and I'm just so excited to cross that finish line.
Yeah, and you did it. So Tsunami, is that?
If you are having a little bit of fun, you're thinking, I'll have to do this next year.
Yeah. It's like this like I don't even know like house music. It's like tsunami, and then like the drums come in.
When you said it, I was kind of thinking of that song Sandstorm.
Oh, it was basically that, honestly.
Just the opposite.
Yeah. So the two of us were in the car. He's sleep deprived, and I'm just like. Dun, 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 dun.
That's funny that you mentioned that because we were talking to third place male Etienne Robert, and he was talking about so all day on course he was listening to a podcast about ships and the seas and everything. So I guess people are really embracing the weather today.
Yeah. Honestly, like I always tell Carl, I'm like best weather conditions, -2 to +7.
So this was your day.
Yeah, and I truthfully I was hoping for like, oh, if it's like 15 degrees and sunny, like the amount of water I'm gonna have to drink, you know. So yeah, such a fun. Highlights definitely was like, you know, like the crew stops and like all of them. Like even when my crew wasn't there, like the volunteers at the crew stop, like you would run in and they're like, what do you need? How are you doing? And I'm like, oh my god, I was like, I would love some water. Yeah, like they're just so helpful. There was these people actually, I think like the two like fun things on the course, there's this like group of people dressed like bananas, and that just like made me laugh every single time. I think there was 2 groups dressed as them.
I think I saw those yesterday.
Yeah, and I was like, bananas and pajamas, like this is the best. And then honestly, the Galactic Climb was actually just so funny because it's like here you are like doing this climb, but then it's just like this river is like just flowing on the course. And it was cold, so it was kind of like you were having an ice bath for your feet, so it was like a love-hate thing.
I hate that climb when it's dry out, so I can't even imagine what it's like to do on a day like this.
Yeah, and there's no views at the top, which is like fine, but I like looked out and I was like, ooh, and it was like just cloud. Fog. Yeah.
And you'd done that climb before? Were you familiar with it?
I did it one Galactic first. And just just to have like, and the first time I did it, it was a rainy day, it wasn't a river going down. And I did it, and I was like, wow, like this is actually a beautiful climb. So that was cool to kind of just be, I don't know, like just like see it on race
Coming
day.
down the line from Vancouver.
Yeah, like I checked out a few parts of the course, just not the smoke bluffs.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Also
Like
some good color blocking there.
future people racing it. That is like a tough section.
Yeah.
Especially when it's wet.
Yeah.
You just kind of ignore it too.
There's you got the climb trail, like watch out, you need to dig deep. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, the smoke gloves, like it'll be good.
Yeah.
And I was truthfully, I was checking my shoulder a few times being like, oh, like I'm just going to see a train of people just flowing past me soon. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Congrats. Do you have anything else on the calendar?
I'm so glad you had a good time.
Part of the live stream for
Excellent. Yeah.
Nobody leaves here. Just so you know.
Yeah. Everyone's actually under the table.
Yeah,
actually
sure.
just chilling.
You may enter.
Yeah. No, like it's this and then I'll probably start marathon training for a bit.
Nice. Which one are you gonna do?
And our first
I'm not too
50-50.
sure, honestly.
James Nubian.
I think I want to do the first half first, like for 21K, and then I'm not really sure. Something flat.
There we go. Always great seeing you. Great to see you out for the 50-50. Hey, right now, do you need to sit down? Are you seeing double?
There was a small argument with a rock, and
how'd you go about this?
Yeah, I used the excellent medical staff, and they patched me up. And Haley, the nurse, she took a look at my pupils, and we're good.
Good to go. All right, they got you back in the game. Do you have an idea of how you're stacking up in the 50-50 right now? We're not going to know until we do cumulative times and see some other runners coming in, but you go ahead.
Did Nick run?
Nick Elson?
Yeah.
Nick did not. He had a knee issue that couldn't get him to the start line.
Okay, well, I know Mike, unfortunately, stopped at Quest.
Correct.
So I may have taken...
There's a 50-50 hat for you. So if you don't know, there are 7 50-50 hats now. You don't get to choose. You get a color depending on how many times you've done it. Blue are for the rookies, the first-timers. Congratulations, well done. We'll let you know as soon as we can as to how you stack up against the rest of the field. Round of applause, everybody.
Do it 7 times to get colors.
Okay, so Yeah, that was, sorry to interrupt you there, that was just
Oh,
our
good. That was intense.
first 50-50 finisher coming through, and that's James Newby,
aka Turbo Larry.
Okay, that's
David.
Turbo Larry.
That's Turbo Larry, yeah.
Okay, you know, you hear
Coming on
these
to the finish line,
nicknames,
looking good.
people running, local runners and
Finishing
stuff.
on his
I've heard
day.
Turbo Larry so many times,
Yeah.
and I've always thought, like, who is this guy? This is Turbo Larry.
Oh,
And this is
small
my
to the
first
finish
impression
line.
of him, coming through with a huge wound
Yeah.
on his...
He's just the nicest person you'll ever meet, and
Just a reminder to all the
I didn't know his last name was Newby because I know James, and I was running with him in Squamish a few months back, and ran into another friend, and I went to introduce him. I'm like, and this is Turbo Larry.
I just thought his first name was Turbo.
It's honestly a legit nickname. And when
yeah.
you roll up with like a bandage on your eye, your
Yeah.
name's Turbo Larry, it's like
You've just
It's a great first impression.
Yeah, literally.
First place in the first impression.
Yeah,
category.
right.
So,
He
yeah.
almost deserves like the next hat level color.
Absolutely.
you
Yeah,
know,
we'll upgrade him.
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
So
a
sorry.
different shade of blue.
We were talking, I think, about marathon training. Is that what we were talking about?
Yeah, for next year. Yeah. So I think after this, I'm just gonna take some downtime, and then, well, I'm running the Banff. There's like an 8K race, but just for fun. It's actually gonna be. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah.
The name of it is escaping me, but just like meeting up with friends from like downtime, and then I'll pick up for marathon training and hopefully race one of those. Hopefully take that into some mountain running again.
And we will see you back next year.
I hope so.
Hey, everyone,
Yeah,
there's a
I feel like I
banana in
need
the
to see the
crowd.
course drive.
He's,
Yeah. I've always honestly wanted to
he's
do this
awfully
course.
appealing that,
My
at
partner
some point he's
won
gonna have to
in
split.
2018 the 50 miler.
Okay.
And so it was just
It
on a
is Sunday,
dry
isn't it?
day. I mean, this is amazing here, but it's so cool to see the Squamish community, everyone come out. And there's just like, I don't know, there's just such like a great energy about the right? Like,
I keep saying homecoming because that's what it feels like, and it's whether it's it's beautiful and sunny out or it's wet, everybody's still out here, and it's amazing.
Totally. And like, and I remember it was my, like, after the race day, I actually had to leave back to Ontario for 2 years, and I was just like, I have to do this race one day. And it was just like inspirational. You see everyone cross the finish line, and you're just like, damn, that's sick.
Yeah, I don't race every year, but I come back every year. I have to be out here every time it happens. It's the place to be. It's awesome.
It really is. And then you have free beer over there. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that online. But
Oh yeah,
I'm like
absolutely.
stoked. Just
Absolutely.
really happy to use it.
It's been awesome talking to you. Congratulations
Yeah, thank
again.
you.
We're looking.
Stretch my legs to a 50 miler at some point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got it.
Awesome. Well, we'll let you go grab that free beer or
Right.
beers, depending.
Yeah.
Definitely plural.
Okay, all right.
You deserve it. And get some food too. And don't
Yes.
get too cold.
Yes, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much. Did you race yesterday?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
No. I've just been hanging out. Well, I wasn't
Nice.
here yesterday, but.
Nice. This is honestly a solid spot.
Yeah, Anne Marie, who's also commentating with us, she won yesterday.
Yeah, she's sick. So I know her through Strava. This is on the thing, right?
Oh, it's still on, but that's okay.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Cool. Well, I've seen her on through Strava, and just like she's such an impressive runner.
She's a phenomenal runner, yeah.
Yeah, and just like so awesome. There's a lot of like I feel like strong females here, and just like which is like super inspiring, honestly.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. We're just fangirling on you
Literally.
right now.
I was like, I don't know Anne Marie. I was like, but I've liked her stuff on Strava. She's sick. Congratulations. I'm thinking it was like
Richard Booth into the line.
3 years ago, I like kind of actually rolled, but then
There you
broke
go.
the medial
High five.
malleolus on that same foot. But I'm feeling like it's
It's
probably
got 50
not going to
kilometers. That's
be.
smart.
my
50.
friends were telling me that you like mentioned about like the puddles, and when I was going through my first few, I was like stomping like flat.
You did not look like you needed any help out there. That was really impressive.
Yeah, same with your race. Like your conditions yesterday.
And from Vancouver, one, Jose Lopez Castro.
On both days, I would guess. Maybe the
The man in black
It was
himself.
definitely like it was like the carnage
Welcome
from
to the
what
finish
was
line.
yesterday. It was like there's a footprint. Oh, someone slid there. Like okay, that's not the way to go. Yeah.
So when you were out there on course today, how much info, were people telling you anything other than like your first female? But did anyone say like the boys, like you had 3 minutes?
Oh, I
or
had
like how far ahead they were?
So Kat came first, and then I was second. But she, like, I had no idea. Like I would come in with like my crew, and like no one said anything. And I also like apparently like did you
Almost
get there, and then it just
all falls
apart. It's all a blur.
100%.
So I like roll in, and they're like try my headlamp and mask, so I have like
So in your
mandatory
mind,
gear.
were you like, yeah, ditch the vest, just like
Yeah.
handheld,
And
but then you're like the mask and the headlamp
and
versus
so
the ear.
and so I like put on this headlamp, and they're like, "What is she doing right
This
now?"
is like the last aid station?
Yeah. Like it was just like, and no one at that point like said anything of like place or anything.
Because what we heard was that from Quest to Farside, you were still the same. Like you were clearly moving at the same pace because you were still the same distance back, like around 19 minutes. So you hadn't lost any extra time.
I think I wish the Somewhere Out There trail. Yeah, I went slow on that. And I was like, maybe that's why no one's saying anything. And so when I left the aid station, I like gave my crew my stuff, and I was like, sub-6 or bust. And I like start going, and I guess I was like not paying attention, and they thought I was about to run into like the Halloween tent. And then apparently I just like deked it out, and they're like, "Whoa!" like going nuts. Yeah, it's just delirious. But yeah, so I think I don't know what my official time was, but
We can look it up.
Yeah, I think I definitely went over 6, but that's okay.
That was kind of the theme.
6:03.
Yeah, so yeah,
And
then
that's
like
great
with
for
the
this
with
now
the
you have a
condi-
goal for next year.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, like with the conditions, I was like I would be lucky, and then I saw that. Did you guys have the 3K marker?
Yes, and the 2K.
Was it like a love-hate relationship with that?
All love. I kind of know that back bit quite well, so I knew like around Smoke Plus was 3K to go. So I actually saw the signs sooner than I thought to, and I was like, oh, this is good news.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
And Hillary was there, and I felt very kind of lonely out there yesterday for a lot of it. So anytime I saw someone, I was like, oh, person!
Oh, that's so nice.
Hillary made my Smoke Plus experience by being out there.
Yeah. How was like your training leading up to it?
On Coldstream, I don't mean what he just ran through, but that's where he lives. Spencer Bradbury coming in.
Okay, I can read that.
September was good, but I had a week holiday, so that helped.
Well, congratulations.
And another 50-50 runner. What's
Seeing you at the next
John.
day.
Right? I'm going to slowly get up and
get that beer.
As mentioned before, once we get all the
Congrats
50-50
again.
folks
Thank
in,
you,
we're able
guys.
to add yesterday's results with today's, and we'll find out how that goes. But in the meantime, it looks like John gets a new hat. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. And from Burnaby, Paulo Costa de Oliveira coming on in.
So we've got James Tilby coming through. Tilly, not Tilby.
Walking out one of those Sixer Series hats that was part of
Do
an
you wanna come in?
adventure while we all had to stay apart, but now we get you at a finish line.
Yeah, we've been dressing people in extra clothes if required.
Absolutely
So John is getting himself with the blue hat.
Yeah.
So we want to
Ask Nick for permission.
Wait, hang on.
Oh, yeah, no, go ahead, please.
Who's sponsoring this? Okay. Sweet.
Congrats.
Thank you very much.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm like really happy. It went perfectly, exactly
Better
to
than
plan.
expected, or?
As expected, but like exactly as expected.
Exactly.
Which is sweet.
That's impressive.
I apologize now, but I'm going for it.
Brendan were duking it out for second, and then we didn't get any other updates until you came in
Right.
second. So what was that last little bit for you, like after Farside?
Yeah, so I got to the aid station at Farside, and Mike, who was crewing me, told me that I was 2.5 minutes behind Etienne and Brendan, and they were within 20 seconds of each other. And he just said, just go now. see if you can catch him. So I pushed pretty hard up far side, past Etienne coming down far side, and thought I'd just dropped him. And then by the time I got to over S&M and started to climb up my trail, he was like 20 meters behind me until all the way to the top. And I thought I was going to get to chill a bit and absolutely didn't. So he said Brendan was kind of close, but I never saw Brendan all the way through. I got to the top of Mountain of Phlegm, probably 30. And then I was trying to run fast down through the bluffs to stay ahead of him, and then just caught Brendan in the Smoke Bluffs parking lot.
Oh wow, so it's like the first time you were.
That was the first time I saw him. And then I passed him by like a meter, and then he was like, oh shit.
He's like, no, no, no.
Exactly. And then he was quick.
Yeah.
And just, I was done, but it was, may as well have a go. So.
Yeah, you can still hold on. And
yeah, exactly.
There's 3 kilometers left at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was looking behind me on loggers and couldn't see Etienne, and it was like enough of a gap where I felt safe. But I kind of knew I wasn't going to catch Brendan once he realised I was there. I just thought I'd have a go just in case he was like totally dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that was perfect. But yeah, I was aware those guys were kind of running together from the beginning, and they went out really fast. And my plan was to go out pretty slow, so yeah.
And it worked for you.
It was great.
And your nutrition plan worked out for you, and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I did race survival about a month ago.
Okay.
And that didn't go very well. I got like really bad cramping and struggled a bit in the last hour. And so just wanted to not have a repeat of that. I went out too hard and ran with Marcus for the first half, and then just blew up and struggled.
Yeah.
So today I just wanted to start slow, ease in, get to Quest, and it's that cliche thing of it starts at Quest and blah blah blah. But it kind of does, and then kind of go from there and see. And yeah, all through first, second, and third aid stations, I was within a minute of the time that I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And then from there, I didn't really look at the watch, and it was more just about kind of go a bit harder from there. And every time I heard where they were,
So it seems like these conditions were ideal for you.
it definitely suits me a bit. Yeah, like I know the trails well and run them a lot, and it's all good.
Yeah.
And I really like the descents. I felt fine.
Yeah.
That helped. Yeah.
That's awesome.
He gets the new hack.
Do you have anything else on the race calendar for the remainder of the year or leading into 2022? Oh.
Colin Miller, don't worry, I'm not going to pull you on the mic. I know you've had a rough weekend this weekend, Colin. All right, Tom Frost, nice work, buddy. Good stuff. Woo! Colin Miller, the third 50-50 runner across the line today. We still need to do cumulative time, so we don't know the exact results. Colin has really struggled in the rain, and this was an atrocious weekend. I'm super impressed with his effort. He gets it done no matter what. As I mentioned earlier, we have 7 different colors of 50-50 hats, and the reason we have 7 is because only one person has completed this race all 7 times, and it's that man right there, Mr. Colin Miller, his 7th 50-50 finish. Colin, we don't have a hat for you. It's in China. And I didn't think you were going to finish, so we didn't bother to order one. We'll get it to you in about 3 weeks. Congrats, my friend. Always great to see you.
There we go. It's Sarah James into the line.
Our lead candidate for Best Blood Award right there.
She's leaking.
Yeah, those knees look bloody.
Yeah, there's been a few people with some war wounds, yeah.
Did you take any spills today?
No, I fell over crossing the river on Galactic, but not the river where the bridge is, like the river that was in the trail.
Right, yeah.
And other than that, nothing. Yeah.
Okay.
Which was nice. I was definitely a little bit cautious on the bridges coming down Angry Midget Road.
Oh, wow. He knows who the photographers are.
So what
A few weeks. So this was like the final hurrah. I've been waiting to run this race for the last 3 years.
Well, it seems like a perfect goodbye to BC then.
Totally. Yeah, it's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to do. And maybe might do a road marathon in December. Mix it up a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that,
From
nothing.
North Vancouver,
This was
Aaron
the pinnacle.
Brown. He ran so fast his hat flew backwards.
And enjoy some of those. There's great UK races as well, so I'm sure you'll find lots to enjoy there.
Yeah, looking forward to some fell races. And
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Cheers
thank you for joining us.
coverage and everything. It's been amazing. I'll give you the jacket back.
Okay, all the Quest bags that were left at the Quest area and down. They're here. They're over by the barbecue station. So if you have a bag that you left requested, they're free to pick up. Of course, your finish line bags are here over the white tents, and there's a change
we
room
haven't
for
talked
you.
to Catherine yet.
I mentioned bags, and here we go. Coming on in from Oxford, Great Britain, Henry Curtis into the line. He's been running on the left side of the trail the whole time, confusing everyone, but, you know, working out.
Did you really? Off the west, yeah.
And from Vancouver, Ian Backstrom coming in. He finished up his 50Ks today, looking good. Coming in at 6:54 and change.
Sweet. I'll grab that in one second. Well, yeah, but we can confirm that the first guy in. I can't imagine. Yeah, we can see
I'll just stay on the finish line for a little while.
Can you,
take a little break?
When you get a chance, can you bring me over the wireless plug? I just want to check the battery levels.
hugely helpful. You saw what I was talking about. This is like confusing. We yelled out, any more for the one more loop, and yelling, after everybody nobody said anything. Sorry.
We're getting a little dip there in the arc. I actually knocked the screen down. Okay, that was Edwin O coming across the line.
The 50 winner in a combined time of 15 hours, 41 minutes. The gap is too large for anybody to catch him. James Newby right here! A bottle of champagne. Pop it that way. Don't take anybody's eye out. Let's see if you can hit the arch right there, my friend.
You get extra points. You can hit the banana.
Squamish local knows the trails inside and out. And he ran in sandals, if you can believe it. That is not true. It's not true. That's not true. All right, now you can get on the live feed. Bring your champagne over there with you and don't get it on the computers.
Yes. And from the News Bay, Vlad Yurkov coming in. Oh, two great beards meeting at the finish line. Coming in under the...
What was your real name, actually? That's my
Who that is, and then you cross, I'm like, oh, it's Turbo Larry. Of course I know James.
Well, that's it. You get on the seawall, it's like, hey.
Oh.
Congratulations on that, too.
Thanks.
Okay, so yeah, we're here with first 50/50 hearing about the people say Turbo. It's not that I think I'm fast, it's my old dog's name. It's Turbo Larry. So it's kind of, in honor of Turbo Larry.
So they're over there by the barbecue area.
Yeah, he was fast. So video? Are we live video?
We're not sure.
Okay.
We think, but
we're just chatting.
Yeah, she crushed it.
She's
yeah. We're waiting for her to come around to chat with her.
Tell us about this. What's going on here?
Yeah.
That was like, kind of the last, just before farther side, just coming down the hill, just caught my toe and did like the slow-mo like toe catch and then like toe catch like slow motion and
the tumble.
Yeah, you know that, right? So yeah, it was fine. It just, it looked worse because it's just there. It's a goose egg. I didn't realize that it was like, but it's fine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they patched me up and Haley made sure I was still good to go, and I kept running. That was fine.
A little bit earlier, we were talking about this thing called the Mike Murphy Award that's often given out to people at Gary's races because they come in with gashes and wounds.
So crazy.
This has to be if there was like an overall FKT for the Mike Murphy Award, this would have to be.
Are you serious?
Well, this is just my opinion.
Well, you have the side of your beard is all bloody. I don't know if you've seen yourself yet.
You gotta turn to the side. Yeah, we're on a bit of a delay on the screen, but just turn to the side so people can see kind of.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool because I was wearing a bandana and it was just.
Yeah, you should zoom in for the viewers.
Oh yeah.
Turn
Oh,
to
I
the
didn't
side.
know that. Yeah, I should get cleaned up.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I like it. I think
you guys.
I think it's good.
I'll just talk to you.
No, you should have it.
No,
showing.
that's
It looks...
gross. That's not a good thing. That's crazy.
You're good. You can't even tell on there anyways.
Okay, so this hat you're wearing, this 50-50.
No one told me.
This 50-50 finisher hat. This is your first time doing the 50-50. Is this your first time running the Squamish race?
I've run both the distances here.
Okay.
Yeah, first time doing them both, and it was because my 100-miler, I really wanted to do a 100-miler this year, and I'm like, 50-50 is close to a 100-miler, and it's
We have another runner
so,
coming in.
yeah, don't have to travel.
From
I live
Squamish.
Because you were originally signed up to do mountain bikes, right?
Yes.
And did you
Looking
decide
good
not to
with
do
his
that
hair
for travel?
flowing in the wind as he's
I
running
just
through.
did the time. I was kind of, I mean, if I really tried, I probably could have gone, but I just felt like it was kind of the responsible
So
thing.
this is all being live fed onto the internet
Not
on
go,
YouTube.
and
of course, you'll be able to watch
and this
it
is
later.
better. And this
check
is
out the post there.
yeah, it's
Did you feel the whole time and just the atmosphere of the race?
people everywhere on course cheering and people out here until.
How did everything go yesterday?
You come across, make you
Yesterday
grab
was
your
good.
finish
I
line
actually
bag with
felt
your
pretty
drive
stressed.
and 3
Correctly,
minutes.
from how I third yesterday overall in the 50-50.
Correct.
And earlier on in the day we had heard that Mike
Kilo says
Siddick
he's
dropped
ready to
out.
go do another
So
50.
just you going along that, you slowly moving up, and
I guess it just shows, right? Like you just gotta
And
try.
here's Ian.
Yeah, you gotta
Right, you just gotta try.
Yeah, and I think they both, we've heard that they were both kind of
There's
going out and
Ian
gunning
and
it for the
Sarah have been fighting it out
50-miler and
for the
then
last little
just trying to get through the day. Were you hoping to do both, or?
I was hoping to do both.
Yeah,
Treat it
so
like
that
a
was your plan.
130K
Yeah.
race. Close to a 100-miler.
Yeah.
And then actually try. My goal was to do better today,
Mhm.
and hold back just a little yesterday, which I think I did. I wanted to be under 9 hours yesterday. I didn't quite get that, but it's still good. So I'm happy. Yeah. Mike Siddick inspired me. Yeah, and all those guys. They're so fast.
talk to us a bit about what you did between when you finished yesterday during the 50-mile, and then from then until starting today.
Oh, yeah.
What was the quick recovery like?
There was no recovery, man. Like, I didn't sleep a wink. I was so caffeinated from yesterday. I was kind of running on fumes, so I just started with strong coffee and Metallica this morning. And Mike had, so that helped. And yeah, basically between then and now, my wife had a big crock pot of beef stew going.
So have beef stew. Or did you?
We thought about spiking it actually. Yeah, no, we did, and he just kept eating too. It was awesome. I think he, I was sad that he dropped out today. I was hoping to, run with him the whole way, but I'm so proud of him too. Like, crazy.
And very cool still, that he showed up this morning and
exactly
gave us
right.
How hard was it getting out of bed today?
Oh, it's hard, dude.
I had a hard time getting out of bed today, and I was not racing. I didn't race yesterday.
I mean, it's
finishing up 50 kilometers here, Squamish 50.
Even if it's walking,
number 2.
You get it.
The new and adventurous
How did nutrition sort of play out over the?
I'm glad you did it. It did not work out for me last time.
Potato, onion.
And here comes Claire Johnson.
Yeah, with lots of salt on them.
Coming down the line all the way from Squamish. This is how she commutes to work every day.
Paprika on there. Oh yeah.
Sounds gourmet.
It's pretty good. Making waffles for people.
Yeah, that's awesome. You have anything on the race schedule for the remainder of the year, next year?
I want to pace my friend and Kat's friend Jesse Boy in a marathon.
So you're going down to CIM?
I don't know if he's going to go. Is he going to go?
I don't know.
He's talking about maybe doing one locally now.
Oh, okay.
But that I just want to get on the roads. I'm actually that's kind of like more
bananas are
my thing.
multiplying.
Like I love trail running.
They all have a
but,
bunch of bananas at the finish line.
Kind of the roads. I like running on roads, so I'm going to go back to running on roads and try and do a marathon. Pace my friend and then have a crack at a good marathon next year.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
Extra turbo, Larry.
I hope so. Yeah.
Turbo Larry, and we're gonna make sure that if you do come to Squamish again, they're gonna call you through as Turbo Larry.
Solid.
That's it. Speaking of which, do you think
great? And to be a part of it, so
wow,
crazy.
Travis Hansen.
Well, thanks.
Yeah,
you guys.
congratulations
Thank you for
so
sitting
much.
with us, and congrats.
Travis is focused.
50-50
There we
win.
go, into the finish line.
Thank you. I'm gonna go find something to clean this up.
Maybe get a wet wipe. Yeah, or free.
So they want to
I would walk around with that if I were you. That's just me. I'd be showing that off.
Like, yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, my mom's probably watching. She's probably worried about me.
He's okay.
Yeah, and nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, you as well.
Yep.
Stay warm.
I've already forgot your actual name. I just know Turbo Larry.
We'll just stick with that.
We'll
It's
just stick
James,
with
but
that.
yeah, Turbo. Cool.
All right. Thanks, guys. Yeah, thanks. See you.
Is it almost the? Almost the award ceremony. Almost the award ceremony.
Are we almost at the award ceremony?
Yeah, 1:30.
Oh, okay.
We do have a couple of amazing photographers with us all weekend. Scott's been hanging out
can we
here
maybe
listening to
take
my
a quick-
jokes for probably going on to like 30 hours now. So if he's not drinking, I don't know what's going to make him. But he's taking
Yeah, that's what I was
amazing,
thinking.
amazing photos. Be sure to check online
Take maybe a quick 5
shortly
minutes.
after the event. They will be posted up. We also have Ty. He's out there shooting out on course, so you'll be able to see how good you look out there on the trails.
No, but I do anyways. Yeah. Well, we had to put this in because of your brother, because he keeps encroaching your space. Have you been hearing at all how he's doing? Or?
I saw him back in Quest. Saw Herman back in Quest. I've seen him.
Okay.
It's up at 865 at 12.
Okay.
Maybe about an hour.
Yeah, it's about 10 Ks.
Yeah.
I know.
Into the line. We're gonna. He's pickled. Running in a pickle suit. And from Garibaldi Highlands. Oh, from Hazelton first. Emma Camasili, sorry. And Malcolm Schultz right there. Welcome to the finish line, Emma. Wow. Malcolm's anticipating a sunstorm or something. Go far.
Sorry, Mel, it's my wireless that we had to share each and every runner the whole way through to the finish line. So this is an homage to our days back then. Yeah, there was that and a lot of...
Behind him was Mike. What's a Netsky? Oh wow, you're really committing to that. Is that cheese on it? Yep. Oh my gosh. I might have to order one. So Mike Wozniacki, who just came in, also a 50-50 finisher. And rocking out a sexy new hat. So stick around. If you are on the podium, work your way over here to the finish line arch. You will be called up shortly.
Are they taking a break? Want me to just speak through this?
Wireless.
You have the wireless.
Oh, I do.
There we go, coming in from Vancouver, Ali Schweitzer coming across the line. I cannot repeat.
Bananas, and those are the crowd with the set up the cheer station. Every year they're out cheering runners on. It's right here.
Thomas Unger, Meyer, Alden Hall, Simon, Whitman, Thomas Unger.
Nice work. Okay, well done. Of course, when we jump into awards, everybody comes across the finish line. All right, for our podium awards, our winners, they will receive a beautiful custom-made trophy from Aravipa Artworks like this, and a complimentary place, a headlamp worth 40. Make some noise for this guy right here.
Paul McCormick coming on in. Ran so fast his tube fell off.
And we'll jump right into it. In the women's race, in third place, in a time of 6 hours, 24:06, her first ever ultra. Lisa Perrette, come on up, Lisa. Nicely done. Once we get your award, if you can stand facing the MC booth so we get you on the live feed, please and thank you. Let's make some noise for the next finisher coming across the line.
And it's Aaron Aspinall coming through 50K.
First ever 50K finish right there. In the women's race in second place in a time of 6:03:32, Alexandra Harris. Come on up, Alex. Right over here. Don't be shy. And our women's winner in a stunning time of 5 hours, 41 minutes, 24 seconds. Come on up, Catherine Short. Let's see it.
Close enough to maybe go around 50.
Let's make some noise for this finisher.
And from Vancouver, Isaac Lowenthal Walsh coming in.
Nice work, congratulations. Awesome. So we'll get...
And Isaac is not...
Smile for the camera. Round of applause for our women's podium today.
There we go. The camera's right here in front of me if you want to wave to anyone.
All right. Yeah, there we go. That's right. Celebrate for the live feed. We're going to jump into the men's podium right now. As we mentioned when he finished completing his official sweep of podium awards, he has finished first at this race. He has finished second at this race. Etienne Robert, come on up, Etienne.
And here comes Peyton Proskerniak from Edmonton. He just saw a mountain for the first time.
Second place, a close race, 30 seconds behind, 37. James Tilley, come on up, James. Our fastest closer out there today. He was 3 minutes back at the aid station. Let's make some noise for this finisher coming in right now.
There we go, coming in. We have Robert Brooks, and here's Mark Fenwick all coming in. There must have been a good sprint there down the final stretch.
Congratulations. And our men's winner in the 50K today in a time of 5:12:03, which is the fastest time on this course. The course record is just under 5, but this course is a tiny, tiny bit longer. Squamish local, know him and love him. Make some noise for Brendan Hunt, please. Come on up, Brendan. He led wire to wire, all the way in. Oh, there he is. Same thing. Brendan, if you can. Come on out here, Brendan. Stare at that camera. Stare at John Crosby. Pretend he is what you want to look at. Just flank, it's fine. Yeah. And finally, I don't suppose Marcus Lindstrom is here right now. Marcus ran 50 miles yesterday, And he did have a 50-50 bib, but I think he was injured and couldn't start today. I don't think he is here. He does not know. Maybe someone knowing him is watching the live feed. We have a special award that I give away at this race, and it is the Roxy Rue Mid-Pack Award. Honor finisher across the line.
Ash Holmes coming on in. Welcome to the finish line.
Hang out a few more minutes. We'll do a few draw prizes here in less than 10 minutes. Thanks so much, everyone.
We'll maybe grab Catherine, the women's winner, and do an interview. That'd be great. Unless you have any.
No, I'm gonna just go get my coffee. Cold.
Okay,
So I'll be right back in like.
Okay, we'll wait for you. Yeah, then we'll do it.
It'll take me 30 seconds.
Okay, what?
Am I still live?
Yeah, I just don't want to. I don't want to if they expire or anything.
No.
And then you have one, and then you're not able to continue.
Yeah, then I keel over some sort of botulism.
I don't want these, but
Way to take it for the team.
No.
Okay, so John Crosby.
Yes.
So we'll do the 50-50 awards in 2 hours at 3:30. That'll be plenty of time, right? Yeah, 50-50 awards will be at 3:30.
Both from Kamloops. And so we're going to be doing the 50-50 awards in 2 hours. 2 hours. And here's William Hollis with Jean-Pierre Fowler right there, and Matt Iwanis. William giving a little wave to his fans online.
Yeah, please. Just mustard and cheese. Oh, no, cheese is an option. Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Exactly 2 hours. 50-50.
Yeah. I'll start calling close to that time too. But yeah, if you want to go away, it'd be about 3:30. Yeah.
Just don't care. Can we just confirm her number when you guys get a chance? 521, thank you. And coming in from Victoria, Tim Jordison into the line.
Can you call her back?
Number 521, if you can just pop here. The timing guy just needs to have a quick chat. Just want to confirm some data.
There's a lag on here, so. First place, fourth overall, Catherine Short, and you and I were talking a little bit earlier, and I believe this is sort of your first ultra.
Over by the white tent, there's a change room there if you want to dress into something a little drier and warmer. Your quest bags are over by the barbecue, which is conveniently
And the ones in the US, those were a couple years ago. Or you said you started.
Oh, we're good now, yeah.
Gibbons is here and serving some nice
This
beer.
is quite a
If you guys want
re-entry
beer to
into the
celebrate,
racing scene
pop on over
this
for tasty,
weekend.
tasty
Yes,
treats.
it was.
And I'm sure the shuttle van is working its rounds. If not, I'll hear about it.
And I think we should hear this from you. But you are from Half Moon
Bay,
I've been saying Honeymoon Bay all day. That is Honeymoon Bay. Apparently is a place, but well, we think we're not really sure.
Cowichan Bay.
But
Okay. No, this is on the Sunshine Coast.
yeah, absolutely. So this is the first time I've actually met you, but I actually have heard a lot about you just from. I know you run a little bit with Jenny Quilty. You've been doing some training with her, And I mean, I also think I saw you a couple weekends ago at Bear Mountain in Mission. You were doing that course, even though that race didn't happen. And I saw you come through, and you looked like you were just coming through super fast. I'm pretty sure you hit several crowns Strava crowns that day.
Yeah, it was a good race.
How was everything today?
It was good. It was surprisingly cold. It's the first time I've like raced in a Gore-Tex jacket. Usually it's too warm, but yeah, it was actually pretty chilly, even in long sleeve. There were definitely a few moments where I was like shivering on the course and feeling pretty cold. So I was super cold.
Had you run Galactic before, just in training or anything?
Yeah.
I guess I was going to say so you knew what to expect, but you wouldn't have known what to expect with the weather, with the water. So
One cold stream, our second cold stream.
How was the day in terms of nutrition? How did that play out? What were you?
Okay, just dive in the line.
Yeah, I tried really hard to start eating after like 20 minutes and just kind of stuck to that. It just gels and I was trying to be really like just flexible. I didn't want to go in with like I need to have like this and this for my nutrition plan. So I just decided to take whatever was at the feed station. That worked well for
Coming
me.
in full sprint.
Do you think it was
Aaron
easier
ready,
to
coming across the line.
a little bit cooler, or is it easier to fuel when?
And it looks like she's ready to go do another 50.
Yeah, for sure. You don't need as much water.
Yeah.
I did fill up its streams on several occasions today because I only had a handheld. So
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so you weren't wearing vest?
No, just the handheld.
This would be the year to do it. There's just the whole course is a stream. So
Totally.
That totally.
Yeah, I left West and was like, oh shoot, I like didn't fill up water, but yeah, I just got water along the stream.
There was plenty of it.
There was a lot of water. Yes.
And so you train on the Sunshine Coast. How does that kind of compare? How do the trails, trail networks, mountains out there compare to out here in Squamish?
They're a little bit less technical, but I also work overseas a lot of the time.
Okay.
So I train.
And what do you do?
I'm an RMT, but I
From
work
Porco
for a professional mountain bike
Catarina, Cuba.
That is very cool.
Finish up 50
I'm a lot
kilometers.
of mountains a lot of the time, so it's like easy access to trails and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm training kind of all over. But
Bikes?
I did, yes. Yeah, I used to. End of the year, but
by running.
Just coming over 7 hours, 31 minutes.
Did you know that your lead was that big?
Yeah.
Do you find that you're running scared out there because you don't know who's behind you, or do you just kind of stick to your own race?
Yeah, I was really like gunning for the set by Ellie in 2014.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, but I believe your time was pretty.
I think 5:41.
5:41.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
And how does
21
that?
minutes.
That was up there. I don't know what tab that's in.
So a reminder, we are still being in a bit of a COVID
A phenomenal
time.
time, though.
So sorry, you were 5:41. That's right. So you were your time would have been a top 5 overall time, from what I understand. I think that's correct, right? Right behind Anna Frost. If you were 5, Anna Frost in 2016 was 5:41, so you would have been.
I think has the course not changed though?
A little bit, yeah. That was a different course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still an incredible time, especially when you factor in the weather. Was there any spots that were just super challenging? I know that some runners have talked about just stepping into puddles, not knowing what's underneath all the water or anything.
For sure. I hit the deck pretty hard running through Valley Cliff, and I like fell and both my legs cramped, so I was down on the ground for a little bit. But that was really the only point where I was like having some struggles. But otherwise, it was just really wet.
I think when you came across the finish line, you did have a bit of some blood. Was that from when you fell there?
Yeah.
I feel like that's pretty part of the course this year.
I've seen a lot of bloody knees. Yeah.
A lot of bloody knees, and then wow, that's awesome. Something that Gary asked you at the when you came through the finish line, I think he asked you if you had any races coming up soon. What's
doing
next?
Diaz Vista next weekend. So 1 week away, 50 kilometers again.
That is that's
Just
incredible.
a very aggressive taper.
Yes.
Rest and taper.
Totally. Rally the legs.
And have you spent much time out on that course?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
I haven't.
familiar.
Yeah, I'm familiar. I'm not like I looked at this one probably a little bit more closely.
Yeah.
This was definitely more the goal race and one
If you want to check out the results, hop off to racedaytiming.ca.
just kind of like trying to increase the volume and see how like a
posting
back-to-back
your results up in the cloud.
and
Just because there's so
no
much cloud to
expectations.
use.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah, and hopefully the atmospheric river will have swam on through by that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody tends to be pretty cloudy and wet.
It sure does, yeah.
This is
Here's where we're shopping.
This is typical Diaz Vista weather that we're experiencing right now. So you should be a pro, right?
I'm going to be
right then.
well adapted.
And will that wrap up your 20, no, where are we? What year are we in? 2021 season?
It's all sort of a blur.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think so. Unless something else fun comes up.
And anything planned for 2022?
I don't know. I was going to try and do Black Canyon in February, but now that I'm working with this team full time, I'm going to, they're kind of my priority, and I just kind of have to fit the racing in around it, so maybe some Europe races. We'll see. But yeah, no sure plan yet. So
they'll come together.
Do you think we will see you back here 2022, 2023 maybe?
I would hope so. Yeah.
Would you consider the 50 mile or the 50-50 maybe?
Yeah. For sure. I think it just depends on again how much time I can take to train when I'm with the biking, because sometimes it's 9 or 10 hour days, so it's pretty hard to add a super long run to that. So we'll just kind of see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'd love to do the 50-50. That's definitely on my list of to do. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, and congrats again on a stellar performance. I'll be at Diaz Vista at one of the aid stations next week, so I look forward to seeing you come through. Congratulations again, Catherine.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Yeah, that was awesome.
So in under 5 minutes, we will be doing some drop prizes, so stick around. Get your pad and paper out, and we'll drop some prizes.
Not met you yet. Well, we met at when Nick was doing his thingy.
Yeah, if you left it out on the race, it's over by the barbecue. Yeah. Welcome.
Oh, our first lady.
Here we go, our first lady 50-50 finisher, Kirsten Walker. Kirsten Walker, our first, there is our first 50-50 winner, Catherine Butcher, into the line. Catherine Butcher.
Second over.
No. Her second time doing the 50-50.
And that was Kirsten's second time doing the 50-50. Not this weekend, but just in her race career. And here we go. It's Herman Alagio coming in. Herman's also rocking out the 50 for 50. Yeah, there we go. Plank it. Jump on him, Gary, jump on him.
He's still going.
That's so, Herman. Good job, Herman.
When I got back, there was people here before me. So, but yeah, for the most part, I think everything was here that should be here, including all the mud.
And coming on in, number 636. Rudy Grant in the line. 50 kilometers, gets a medal. And from Wynyard, Martin Saltering into the finish line. There we go. How did I pull my hamstring? Everyone's gonna. Great job there. Welcome to the finish line, Martin. Make sure you get your medal. Grab a barbecue, some hot chili. A high five from Gary. That was Martin's first ever 50K. So we'll see him next year at the 50 mile.
All right, we're going to do some draw prizes right now, and I apologize, Charles. We've been trying to get to this for far too long. We're going to still cheer every runner across the finish line as they come in, but we'll give away some draw prizes in between. Let's cheer this runner across the line right now.
Steve Corchino into the line.
In duffel bags, all kinds of nice Solomon gear, Territory Run Co., etc., etc. Today is a really good day for this one. There is an award that we call the Mike Murphy Award. And yeah, that's right, those who know, and they're laughing. So Mike Murphy is one of our favorites, ran our races for years, but could not get across the finish line without having blood coming from somewhere on his body. So it's the Best Blood Award. If you ran today and you had a fall that drew blood, I have seen some of you, and come on up to the finish line and let's see come on up. The brain injury counts, James, come on up. Anybody else want to get a Best Blood Award right now? James Newby, bleeding from his cranium is pretty good. This man leaves nothing to the imagination. Is that? It's long legs, short shorts, right here. These are the longest legs and the shortest shorts in the 9-year history of event directing. Period. The live feed right there. Nothing to the imagination. I'll give you both a prize. Maybe we can get some long shorts for you, my friend.
Whatever.
How about a couple of Solomon ball hats? Yeah, we got a ball hat for you, newbie, and then we have a ball hat for you, my friend.
Whatever you do, I'm glad you didn't drop it.
All right, how about furthest traveled? We know we have some people from overseas. We have some American travelers. Furthest traveled, yell out a destination and we'll see if we can top it. Where did you travel from to get here today?
Great Britain's the furthest.
Where? Yeah? Japan leads the way. We're going to start it off hot. Japan? Is that, yeah? Oh, you're just guessing countries. Oh, you were like, I can name a country that's far on the globe. Okay, can anyone name a country further away from Squamish than Japan? I mean, we can just go that route. Who can name the furthest place on Earth from Squamish?
Madagascar!
Madagascar, all right, but you're on the microphone. Who traveled the furthest to get here? Did anybody travel from outside of British Columbia? Anyone travel further than Quebec? Come on up and grab yourself a prize for getting here from Quebec this weekend. We have a Solomon waist belt. What are you? There you go, congratulations. I like your outfit, thank you very much. One draw prize per person, thanks for coming all the way from Quebec. Anybody here today celebrating a birthday? Anybody here today celebrating a birthday? Don't be shy. Let's cheer this runner across the finish line. Runners, right here, coming on in, 50K finishers.
Oh, whoever comes in last has to buy lunch. Oh, they're just going to saunter in anyways.
Nicely done.
Marion and Thomas coming in together.
These guys just won the Territory Run Co. socks because they look like, well, are you even wearing socks? What is going on there? You know, there. That'll help with the chafing on your feet. Nicely done. Birthdays, anybody? Today? Birthday? Yes, was that a yes or was that? Oh, yeah? Come on up. Come on up if it's your birthday today. That's right. All right, can you tell everybody your name, please?
Amy.
Amy? Where are you from, Amy?
England.
I don't believe it. It's hard to tell. All right, Amy, we have a running backpack. Will that work for you? Let's all join me, please. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Amy. Happy birthday to you. Congratulations.
And part of the condition, she has to run the 50-miler next year.
That's right, yeah. All right, we always like to recognize our oldest and youngest finishers. If you think you're in either of these categories, how about it? What's a number? How old is someone? Young? Old? Anyone? 25. We're starting off at 25. Are you older or younger than 25? Anybody? I will give this person a draw prize if you do not challenge her. Let's cheer this guy across the finish line.
Here comes Aiden Schubert, who is also 25.
All right.
Hello. You too.
Aiden also just won himself a pair of Territory Run socks. There you go, good sir. Those will keep your feet nice and toasty warm. 25 years old, going once, going twice. You win the middle of everything age award because nobody else wanted to, you know what? You just won a Solomon duffel bag right there. Yeah, for playing along. Thank you. There you go. Yeah, too late. Yeah. Once you saw the duffel bag, everybody wanted to know how old they were. Who here has volunteered at the most Squamish 50 races and not won an award? Not won a draw prize? Anybody? Award, draw prize, volunteering for the race? I know there's a limited quantity of volunteers here right now.
From Calgary, he's sad that his team lost to the Oilers last night.
Oh, it was embarrassing, 5-2. It wasn't even close. I mean, it was on down the whole way.
Lethan Slade in the line.
Let me give you a pair of socks to wipe your Calgary Flames tears off of your face. Nice work on your 50K. Congrats. Who here has run the most Squamish 50 races and not won a draw prize? There are like 4 people partaking in this right now. Who here wants to win a draw prize? The first 7 people that line up at that gate get a draw prize, and then we're going to go back to cheering runners on in. All right, stay there. I have never had to work this hard to give stuff away, but here we are. Did you guys count properly? Are we at 7? Yeah? 3, 4. And you know what? We'll put a couple of backpacks in there for you guys being good sports. Okay, I'm just going to go random. I'm not even going to look up. So, first draw prize, second draw prize, third draw prize, fourth draw prize, 5th draw prize, 6th draw prize, and 7th draw prize, duffel bag, backpacks, all kinds of great stuff. You know what? If you ask for an 8th draw prize, come get something, and then we'll get back to cheering on runners. We have a pink Women's Territory Run Co. shirts. Wear it proudly. All right, everybody, thank you for kind of playing along, but not really. Let's continue to cheer our runners across the finish line. At 3:30, we're going to do 50-50 podium awards.
I've been wanting to say it on the mic so much. She's wearing underpants. She is. And we have a runner coming in. 50. Marie Villagrande in line. Finishing her 50-50 day. She ran so fast her half flew backwards. Yeah, I've said that one a couple times. And then coming in, the man in black himself, Ben Kay.
Mary F just won, right? There was no one else.
No, there was another woman who came in the 50-50 earlier, so I don't know.
Okay.
You gotta do the math.
We have to wait for some cumulative ties for the 50-50 placements, but we're going to present Mary Eve with her 50-50 hat. Congratulations on a great run out there today.
Here we go, coming around the corner from Calgary. Hopefully she carpooled with Lathan. Madison Elric. Gary.
She did win. She won by half an hour. What was her total time?
And from the loops, 50-50, Carl Kennedy into the line. He's going to get a new hat to make himself look sexier out there. And we will be doing the 50-50 awards at 3:30, so if you ran that, stick around. And from Vancouver, Kevin Parrish finishing up. Doug was saying he was busy.
Yep.
I
sent one. I'm like,
I know someone had a wrist injury. And from Vancouver, Garth Thompson coming across the line. He ran so fast his hat flew backwards. Just a reminder to all the racers who come in, the barbecue's on, so there's hot food and some chili. Your finish line bag is over there where the black and white tents are to the right. And your bags from Quest are over by the barbecue. And from Vancouver, Sepper Devani. Ooh, everyone loves that. Room with the two chili eaters.
Wasn't too bad. Although because they were here Friday night, I got the actual pants. I got the pull-out bag. Oh my god, my back is not happy about it.
which one? I think it was the Squamish 50 one. I slept on the pull-out by choice. And it actually was one of the most comfortable because the dips in it matched my body. So it was like perfect. Like, I'm lying in this thing like was built around it.
That was so exhausting.
Yeah. I got home and I had washed my boots and my pants off the drainage off the building there. So I get to my buddy's place, take my boots off, he has a mud room, but I keep the pants on, and I walk to the bedroom, and change the shorts and bring my pants back to the mud room, and I can see these streaks of mud on the floor. Yeah. So luckily I'm still wearing my old socks, I just skidded across the floor and cleaned the floor. So like, oh. The pants were still wet when I put them on.
Staying at a hotel in Richmond tonight. And Terry and Joe put a hot tub. So utilizing that for sure.
With the team, we were supposed to have brunch or something tomorrow. I don't know what's happening, but I'm staying out. Normally I don't. I might just stay up anyway. If not, I usually have to stop somewhere and sleep on the side of the highway for like a half hour just to keep
Lately
going.
I've done that like that. So I just pull over and give myself a 15-minute and then I can make it the rest of the way home.
Yeah, there was one time when I was in my 20s, I was driving up Fraser Canyon and I closed my eyes. And and I opened them and I was on the oncoming lane. Luckily no one around and it was a straightaway. That's literally scared me straight. Like, I was like, not doing that again.
I would just toss the laptop. I'm so used to working from home now that I don't ever really put in a full 8 hours. Like, I shut down and I'm done. Well, the last 3 weeks I've been putting in like 10 to 12-hour days. I'm driving 4 hours a day. So I'm just, I've had to pull over a couple times to number one just for a 10-minute because I like, I'm like, oh my God, did I just fall asleep? I panic myself. That's what it's like. Scary feeling.
Yep. Not scary while you're doing it, scary when you realize you did it.
Open your eyes.
Yeah, you're like, bing.
Oh my God, yeah. What else?
Oh, actually, yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. I feel like I was supposed to parking on Court Street where you say, yeah, and I got that spot.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah, my boy was 25 years old.
I come in and I noticed a thing of Molson Canadian on the floor. And I'm a bit of, she was asking me some questions and I'm like, oh, this is not Molson Canadian. And they laugh. Because I know he drinks decent beer or whatever, but it was her son just turned legal or something and storing it. I'm like, okay, I'll accept that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I started with the Labatt's. My dad was a Labatt's guy. The Labatt's Dry, the Labatt's Classic. Okay. Okay.
Not officially, but it's
So we are here at Squamish 50 2021. We have not said those words out loud on a microphone in a couple of years. We are so happy to be able to get back out. Great work, population, to make it a little safer for us. But on that note, we are asking everyone to respect each other's COVID comforts. We're all at different levels of where we're at, and we don't know everyone's family life, so we are asking respect the distance. Wear a mask if you're dealing with any of the crew. They've all been asked to wear masks for your safety, so let's be safe out there. For all the racers coming in, the barbecue is hot and so is the food. There's some chili and some other snacks. Finish line bags are over by the white and black tent to my left. You grab and there's a change room there so you can change into something dry. Here we go, coming in. Oh, I didn't realize he was running. It is Mr. Shea McKinney coming on in. Wow. Looking good.
quit again.
I'll see you next year.
Yeah, I know. Love you too.
Coming in under 8 hours.
Oh, you can take the rest of the day off.
And coming on in from Trois-Rivières, Francois Dessereau into the line. There's a pretty good French contingent here this year. Doing a good job representing the East. Yeah, and also if any racers had bags up at Quest, they are over by the barbecue. Here we go, Dimitros Milonis from Vancouver swimming his way across with Sarah Robertson from Cranbrook. Dimitros also walked off the 50-50. He's looking like he's ready to do another 50. Oh, look at this. Is this our first green hat we're putting on? No? Okay. Second green hat.
She is. She's not too far behind. She'll be here. I did. She's got me pretty much every other time. Oh! Yeah, she's doing more road stuff with the buggy, so she'll be on the hill. Even though it's trying to. Yeah, where's the camera? Okay. Yeah, right there.
Time for you to
Given the conditions, everything's like obviously slower than expected. Now it's like water and mud and all that stuff. But I don't know, I overtook like 70 people in the last 20 days. 70. And nobody passed me, so I'm like... Yeah. But you know, I didn't do much running like up the corners. Up and down, it was like impossible, so my legs were fresh. When I did for this morning, yeah, that's I ate a lot, I was feeling great. My body temperature was awesome, start to finish. It was what
I don't know whose model that is. We can just start chugging it.
How are you?
Has it been open? Maybe they're still trying to turn on the...
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
one
go
of my
back
winners, maybe the 52. I don't know. Then take pictures.
Right, I'll go and do that.
Yeah, it was a slog. It was nice actually just in the last section to be able to put running down. There's so much of it, like you just start running and splash and lay it out.
And if anybody's thirsty, Gibbons is here. The beer garden is planted and sowing the seeds of love. Some Gibbons beer is available to you, so pop over and get some liquid nourishment or courage, whatever.
It's just going to be a grill about me missing parking this morning, but
It makes it easier too, so we can coordinate babysitting and all that stuff too.
Am I supposed to talk about someone not showing up for parking? Is that what I'm supposed to say?
But wait till Wayne puts you in it, then we're going to put it on.
Coming on in as he is supposed to, or she is supposed to, Catherine McGregor from Squamish. Hopefully she didn't have to park this morning. There we go, Catherine rocking out at a 50K.
What does it mean when he does this and says okay?
I'm not sure. He's been doing that all day.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Go like this. 3,
2,
1,
No,
go.
you don't say the one.
All right, so you're about to see what lack of sleep and caffeine looks like. So let's go. And yeah, I can barely remember my own name. So
Why don't you start by introducing yourself in case nobody else there?
Yeah, fair enough, right? Yeah, I think my name is Gary Robbins, and I believe my mission in life is to just hang out at finish lines and high-five people when they come across. I'm the co-race director and creator, founder of the Squamish 50 races and Coast Mountain Trail Running. Myself and Jeff Langford started in 2011, 10 years ago, hiatus with COVID, obviously, so this is the 9th edition of the Squamish 50 races, and in 10 years, we've grown from just a couple hundred runners to 1,500 runners annually, and we sell out typically 9 months in advance in under 24 hours, and have become the biggest ultra race in Canada by finishers, so we're quite proud of where we've gotten to.
This is the first October rain edition of the Squamish.
Not the last though. We love it.
Well,
It's been so amazing. I mean, I would really love to do this again.
We've been taking votes on throughout as we interview people. Who would take it in August versus October. Etienne, our third place male finisher, he is a fan of October. So if we do this again, we've already got him penciled in for the race.
We have at least one person registering for our next October race. I think he might be alone in that. Yeah. Hopefully we will never not be in August again. I would much rather deal with some heat issues rather than a few hundred millimeters of rain over 36 to 48
Looks like Melissa's buying dinner tonight.
How would you say the weekend went just overall? I mean, just me watching everything, everybody seems to be having like a fantastic time.
Which is really weird, actually. It makes me question people's sanity. You put down some flags and some spray chalk and an arch, and they'll find a way to have a good time, it seems. I gotta say, first and foremost, we have an exceptional team. Jeff and I have worked really hard over 10 years to really build not just a really talented team, but a really cohesive team that when we have our team get-togethers and meetings, we have as much fun as we do dealing with business and stuff. So I knew going into this, when we saw the forecast, I thought it was a misprint. I was like, I'm going to check again tomorrow, and it continued to get worse. But I knew we'd be able to handle it. We had a couple of emergency meetings at the last minute to redesign our course marshal plan. We weren't about to ask marshals to be out in 200 millimeters of rain for 7 hours, so we had to reallocate some positions. But the team didn't flinch. They're amazing at what they do. So I was amazed yesterday during the 50-mile day that at points I questioned if my radio was working, if the battery had died. And the radio lets us know what's happening if there's panic or extractions, etc. It went so smoothly because the team are so good at what they do. So I'm amazed that we're sitting here on the back half of the 50K on Sunday and can say that it was a hugely successful event thus far.
And so people can expect this event to be held in October.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, absolutely. October is fantastic. I love wearing my ski kit to the finish line. And also, pro tip, don't wear your favorite ski pants that are beige into a mud pit. Yeah, they'll never be the same again.
Yeah, I thought it was a fantastic weekend. Do you know specifically how many volunteers we had out this weekend?
We had 350 is what we target, 325 to 350 volunteers. I don't know what that ended up getting pared down to. We did, some people couldn't make it for one reason or another, don't want to be out in the rain that much. We had about 300 volunteers, and a big shout out to our volunteer coordinator, Megan Eastwood and Sonia Mahoney, to be able to direct 300 people, and most of them having not being local, not knowing the trails. It is incredible that they can get everybody into position for a flawless race experience for runners.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's just having a great time seeing some of the volunteers out there, and I'm always surprised too. We were talking to a lot of the 50K finishers here, and everybody was just super ecstatic. And it's like, you've just ran 50K in this insane rainstorm, and they're coming through with smiles, and they're just so pumped on the course.
Well, doing an ultra period is a massive accomplishment. But doing an ultra where you add in these additional elements that make it increasingly harder, it really ups the ante, and with that it ups the reward. And I've seen that with runners where there's been like preposterously positive feedback at the finish line, where one runner said, "This was the most amazing thing. I wish every race was like this." And I was like, do you hear what you're saying right now? Do you understand the words that are coming out of your mouth? But no, I really feel like people this weekend felt like they were a part of something bigger, because it is absurd. It's absurd. There were other events planned in the Lower Mainland this weekend that canceled, and And it's just funny that you, with trail running and ultra running out on the trails, it's like you don't cancel. You end up with like a huge show percentage on the start line because people embrace that challenge and they know that there's a greater reward at the finish line.
Yeah, one of the things I always find really neat too is, and throughout the the broadcast yesterday and today, is we focus a lot on those top runners coming in and everything, but I think sometimes we forget to talk about like a lot of the finishers that are coming in. And what was the cutoff time?
17 for the 50 mile.
17, so that would have been 10:30 last night. You're still out there. We've got runners coming in. How cool was that to see?
Yeah, absolutely. That's so when I built the Squamish 50 course, what I wanted to do was present a really challenging course, but also something that was completely doable by people that would put in the time. It would be so easy for me to create a course that's way harder than this in Squamish. There's almost infinite possibilities of what you can construct. But what I wanted was, within a 17-hour window, what's the maximum challenge that we can present to allow people to be able to finish the race so that we don't eliminate the mid and backpack runners. And we see that. We see people who do get cut off and they come back the next year. And we see 50-50 runners who miss the cutoffs and come back and they make it happen. And when we built our events, we celebrate the lead runners, as we should. That's a big part of the sport. But if you ever work an aid station, you see that the volunteers aren't there for the lead runners. No. The lead runners come through and it's like boom, 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 business. And then by the time the mid and back of the pack runners come in, it's this complete bond between runner and volunteer.
I love it.
And it's exceptional, right? And that's something that I love about this sport and what we do. And that's something that we've always maximized celebrating. When I was doing competing prior to becoming a race director, one of the events I really looked up to was the Mind Over Mountain Adventure Racing Series. So my good friend Brian Tazaka directs the MOMAR, is the acronym. And I did adventure racing before trail running. And the takeaway I had from the MOMAR races that I didn't see at all the other races I was doing, Neenacker's another great example. They went out of their way to celebrate everybody, to make the last finisher feel as special or more than the first finisher. And that was something that we built into our DNA right from the start. So we're here start to finish, and we want to make sure that every single runner feels celebrated at the finish line.
Also, those runners who are just making the cutoff, in the October version of the race, they are in the dark so much. Not just the water and the rain, but doing it at this time of year, it's like an extra hour at least in the morning. Yeah, and then again in the evening. So they're running by headlamp through these totally treacherous conditions in the dark far more than they would in August. So I think huge kudos to all those people, who finished, made the cutoff in a more challenging course for numerous reasons.
A way more challenging course. So my wife ran the 50 miler yesterday. She ended up slipping on a bridge and jammed her arm, and she jacked her back a little bit. She got up and dusted herself off and got to the finish line. But I was talking to her this morning before I got. So my wife does the 50 miler, finishes. I have an alarm set for 20 after 3 this morning, and my wife comes in at 3:15 because she woke up worried I'd outslept my alarm. I was trying to get 5 extra minutes of sleep, so she was making sure I was going to get back to the start line. But her lower back is really lit up today, and she said it was because when running, the puddles, you don't know how deep they are. So you assume the puddle's this deep, but you end up in a puddle this deep, and you're not prepared for it, and you overstep kind of thing. So yeah, there were a lot more challenges presented to runners, and the 50-50 runners, the ones that started this morning after yesterday, I mean, forget finishing, just starting today was a massive accomplishment.
I agree, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's something you talked about too.
Yeah, it's a very hard on your joints kind of, and then that was, the puddle depth, you don't know how deep it is, so it jams your back, like Linda was saying, and your knees and your ankles if you're rolling them, and so you're just way more achy and sore than normal because you've had a lot of these missteps or I don't know where the bottom is steps, and it's hard.
How are you feeling today?
I'm actually, the limiting factor yesterday was my joints. They're still a bit achy. My muscles are maybe not as bad as they usual 50 mile for me. I think maybe because it wasn't like the...
Because you had an ice bath from start to finish. It's a strategy we build into the races. It works for recovery.
It was the continuous ice bath.
Well, and you also spiked your heart rate on the Sea to Sky drive on the way here. Yeah. So that the race started on the Sea to Sky highway.
Did that get discussed on this?
You brought it up. We should talk about it. There's because Anne-Marie is doing the broadcast today, there was sort of a group email chat there, and at about, I think it was 5:08 yesterday. With context, the 50-mile start, it was to start at 5:30. I think I was still in bed yesterday around that. And
you were definitely still in bed.
Yeah,
You like to oversleep and stay in bed.
That's today.
I'm making this up. He's very dedicated.
So at 5:08, we got this email coming in from Anne Marie, and it was something about, hey, I'm still driving there.
I think it said, don't start the race until I get there. I'm your most important runner, and you know it.
Yeah.
I'm just quoting word for word.
I can back that up.
I saw this email at 6:30, an hour into the race, and thankfully, I would have panicked if I hadn't. So right at the start, I saw you, and I don't know if you were going to miss the turn, but you jumped out, and I pointed you to the right instead of going straight.
Okay, so I didn't.
Because you got there at the last second, so you didn't hear the pre-race of right through the arch, immediately hook a right turn. So I'm standing there, and she's about to blow the first turn in the race, and I'm like, that way. And then I see the email an hour later and go, oh, I get it. You basically ran into the start chute and had no idea what was going on at that point.
So I didn't understand that comment. I didn't realize you were talking about that right turn right there. I thought you were telling me, because I'd missed the pre-race briefing, not to screw out on the course. And then I was telling these guys earlier, my jacket was amazing and invaluable yesterday, but I had it over my vest, which was nice because it kept my vest dry.
What brand is your jacket?
Solomon.
What brand is your backpack?
What?
Wow.
But I had it down to get the food out, and it got stuck.
All done
and I
into the line.
was running with my head down, trying to undo the zipper, and fully missed the galactic turnoff by like half a K or a kilometer. And so then I was like, I finally got it all figured out, and I look up, and I'm like eating some food that I'd gotten out of there, and I look and I'm like, I haven't seen a pink flag for a while. And I'm like, on Gary's course, if you haven't seen a pink flag, you are
that is our promise.
So far from where you should be. So I turned around and I was, how many kilometers have I gone? I couldn't even remember the last time I saw a pink flag. So I started running back, looking for the galactic turnoff, and it wasn't, I didn't have to run that far to find it. But then I was like, a couple guys had clearly passed me. I had no idea if like women had been right behind me. So I was sort of climbing the galactic trail with now no idea where anybody.
So we have a barricade across the road with two pink signs that you have to run past to miss the turn. You weren't the only one. Jamie Sparling, a friend of the race, a local mountain biker, former pro rider, was out yesterday riding his mountain bike, checking out the lead pack. And if you miss that turn, it's called the Northside Connector. It's a service road. And about a kilometer past that turn, Jamie was biking, and there was a runner coming at him with a bib on. And he said, "Are you dropping out of the race?" And the guy was like, "No, why?" He goes, "Because you've missed the turn by more than a kilometer right now." So Jamie saved somebody's race out there yesterday, and that guy ran an extra 2K. The funny thing is, we rarely hear people at the finish line blame us for missing turns, and that's a nice thing, because when you get back and see the barricade you had to run around, it's obvious that you were one of the only people to miss the turn.
We were talking with Chris Jones yesterday, and he was talking about being a part of deflagging the course and how that's so much work compared to what he thought it would be.
Yeah, we call those material sweepers, and we have yet to ever see a material sweeper sign up twice.
Not Kim Magnus? I could see her having done it more than once. No.
Early on, yes. Early on, Kim did a couple of course material sweeps. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think we've got another
coming down the final stretch, the 50 kilometers.
Yeah, it's non-stop. It's just go, go, go. So 7 days from today, we've got the Diaz Vista 50K in Port Moody. 23rd year for that race, 23rd, 24th.
It's a little wet.
And we're happy to be back there. That's a sold-out race, 450 registered. We'll see what we get for weather, and we'll see what we get for people showing up. It is Diaz Vista weather. It's normally in April. And when I say we'll see what we get for people showing up, I actually mean the crew, not the runners.
This is one of our anesthesia fellows here from Australia.
Oh, really?
Nicely done.
Good. That was hard.
This is what it's like in Australia outback, right?
Same.
I thought if this was Australia, about half the race would have been eaten by crocodiles.
Oh, they'd be right through town right now, right?
Yeah.
The crocs just come in with the floods.
You couldn't run in that sort of stuff. Like you're taken.
Were you worried about getting taken today? Is it just something that's built into your consciousness?
Totally. Like it's definitely crossed my mind. But I stayed strong.
Is it just jacket? Is there a layer underneath the jacket there?
Oh, there is. Yeah.
I thought it was just jacket over top.
It's just chest hair.
There's chest hair in a V jacket, and it was a very unique styling with a neck buff.
Yeah.
It looked. You look good. You look very good. But it is a tank
First
top.
place in the fashion
I try to
category.
emulate like.
Thank you for organizing.
Congratulations.
Nice work.
That was actually my best race.
Safe travels.
About 35K. So,
Amazing. You really picked a challenging one.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Brothers and sisters in anesthesia?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
right?
Aaron's here for a year.
Anne-Marie's like leading from the front, bringing up the rear.
You've done well.
Catch you later, guys.
Yeah, good stuff. Congratulations.
It's the whole anesthesia crew.
But I do want to say thank you to you guys. So thank you to our broadcast team. This was something that it didn't get thrown together at the last minute, but it was kind of once we got up and going, there were so many obstacles to get through just to get the race going again. Not the least of which was even confirming a date in the calendar. And I said I wanted to do a live broadcast, and it basically Nick Jarvis got brought on and Wing Taylor, and these guys really took it and ran with it. I invited some of my good friends that also happen to be really good runners and really good talkers. And from everything I've heard, it's gone really well this weekend. So hats off to you guys. It's massively appreciated. And what we want to do, and we've always wanted to do with this race, is we want to be at the forefront of what's happening in the sport. So this is our demo, this is our tester. We're looking to build out a budget and to not go crazy. We're not going to do anything UTMB style out here, but we do want to offer a better live race day experience in August of next year and August every year after that.
And I think to shout out to Chris Jones and Jenny Quilty.
Yeah.
They did an amazing job.
I heard they did a way better job than you.
I think.
I mean, it was in the
I
comments
agree.
just right now. Or it's,
I was lying in bed trying to keep rice pudding down and watching it as my homework so that I knew what standard I had to meet today, and I clearly failed. But
the standard's just showing up on time.
Yeah,
that's all we ask. Just show up on time.
Yeah, no, they did an amazing job.
You all did an amazing job. I'm going to get back to finishers because I hate missing finishers, and I've missed about 15 while we're here. But again, and thank you to everyone for tuning in. Yeah, we'll continue to live feed the runners coming across, and I don't know how much more you guys are.
60% chance of rain.
A 60% chance of rain, exactly. Yeah. Sweet. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right, back to finishers.
Wing, you probably go back to finisher? Okay. Do we know where Mariette is?
Let me go scan.
Because, I mean, if she's... That would also be a good way to...
Okay, yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean? Like, it would be a good way to... We could also do Mariette, but that would be...
We could just...
I'm back on that, yeah.
Okay, we're just over 8 hours, 22 minutes here at Squamish 50. Day number 2, which had 50-kilometer runners. Some of them even ran the 50 miles yesterday for the 50-50 coveted hat. The only way you get a hat is to run the 50-50. Each year is a different color, depending on how many years you're doing it. So we've given out some green and some blue. And of course the new color, which unfortunately has got stuck in a supply chain issue, but there'll be a new color we'll see shortly. And here we go from the island, Sarah Gunderson from Victoria, Matthew French from Souk. Whoever comes in last has to buy the other lunch. There we go, across the line. I wonder if they know they're both wearing almost exactly the same outfit. I'm not going to say which one looks better, but Anthony Cooper coming in. He's probably been chasing those two. And from Port Moody, which is where we're going to be next week with Diaz Vista, Lindsay McCann coming down the line. So all the races have finished up. Be sure to pop over to the barbecue. Your finish line bags are at the white and black tent to my left.